it is enhanced because it involves a public utility. It's breaking the city's property related to the operation of a public utility. So that's one of the things that takes it to being a higher level misdemeanor and getting filed with the district attorney's office. But it did not come through us.
With the legal department, but it came through the city. The city, one way or another. I mean, some people filed the complaint. Look, I get it. You break the crime, you get charged. I get it. But he didn't. He did. The doctor did not go and did it himself. I mean, it just blows my mind that we filed charges against him. And I feel, me personally, it's a witch hunt because Type B board wants to take his money away. My personal opinion, I could be 100% wrong, but my personal opinion, that's the reason behind it. And I just feel like, you know, he's trying to better the west side of town, and he's trying to do this best as possible with what he has right now with the situation, you know, with workers, money-wise, everything else, you know. I just feel that, you know, and then for Type B too,
Location, knowing
that we had this intimidate, I mean, it just blows my mind. So the decision that the board did yesterday, can we do anything about that decision?
Those programs and expenditures have to be approved in the first place by the city council, by the governing body. However,
so that contract's coming back to the council to counsel it.
Once the programs are in place, that contract is with the Type B corporation. It's not the city. It's the Type. It's a separate corporation. You appoint the board members, and they serve at will. But it is a separate corporate entity.
So we can't
within their discretion.
You can't do anything about it.
So the only thing we can do is replace board members.
Yeah, they terminated the contract. You can't reinstate it. They would have to.
So what's the deal with not accepting his money?
Are we aware of the check that was going to give us for $10,000? Give you a check, Dan?
I'm going to type here for sudo install mstt
court process to determine what.
Okay, he was trying to pay his ticket to you and not the judge? Okay, so that's the issue there.
It wasn't the ticket, it was for the water that supposedly he stole. He was trying to pay for that water. So he was trying to ask you guys how much money he owed y'all, and y'all never give him a price.
Well, we didn't have a meter.
And we talked about this in each session. I remember exactly.
Yeah, we don't know how much because there's no meter. They illegally tapped into an active line with no meter. So, did he talk to you, Dan? You didn't talk to.
Yeah, in discussions, yeah, there was an offer of a certain amount, but we had no ability to, like you said, there's no meter, there's no ability to determine how much water was taken or not, and it had to work its way through municipal court. In fact, he had court, I guess, today, and I don't know if the municipal court would determine an amount that was paid.
Okay, so if we had money, it wouldn't have relieved him of his municipal court proceedings, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Meant to academic excellence.
So there's nothing we can do, Miles. So he gets screwed with his $1.8 million. He gets screwed because he has charges filed against him. There's nothing we could do for him, like one or the other. Like what can we do for this guy? He's a small business owner from Corpus Christi who's investing in the west side of town.
Location, what's your 10-13?
Careful to talk about evidence in a criminal case I would normally recommend that any criminal matter be dealt with in executive session, and we have dealt with this in executive session, and the evidence be received in executive session. So any relation of the evidence, and that's normally a law enforcement matter that involves the police and involves the discretion of the district attorney. And it's a state law matter in this case.
Just to maybe clarify, there were two types of penalties, wasn't there, infractions? There was a municipal court, tickets, and then there was a criminal case of tapping into a municipal water system. Is that correct?
It was a criminal case. I believe it was a type of criminal mischief. I would have to go and do some research to get that. And I would recommend it be related in executive session because it's a live law enforcement matter.
But there's two, right, but there's two kind of categories of issues that happen. We do have tickets. You asked the question, how long have we been charging people who steal water for?
As far as I've been here, I believe
Yeah, we
all cities.
right, so that's a long-standing practice. So he was issued a ticket for watering on a day he shouldn't have been watering. Right.
That was a separate issue.
Right, Wes? Okay, so he was, that's what I'm saying. So one issue was simple infractions in the municipal court. That could happen to any of us, watering on a day you're not supposed to water.
Trim complete.
I don't know what
Process
the other issues
36.
are, but the
Quarantine
more severe
0.
one that could have crippled the entire region's water supply is actively tapping into the city's water system without any permission. And if you may recall, prior to 7 years ago, the city couldn't use our water system because of an issue with the distribution. So that's a bad scenario anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's Corpus Christi. So
I just want to know if I can
Nominalization. All 39 files to
this
processing.
is small business owners. This is not Valero. This is not the state aquarium. I don't like the way he's being treated. It's just not right.
yeah, we understand. I mean, we're not treating him any differently if somebody taps into the water system illegally.
I'm just not just talking about that. I'm talking about taking his money away.
We didn't take his money away. Yeah, the Type B board did that. Yeah, and we didn't recommend it. In fact, Dan McGinn was there yesterday, and he recommended against them taking any action yesterday. Before, he recommended it for many reasons. One, he told the Type B board, you all are going to talk about it today. Two, they were going to municipal court today, and there could be some changes there. So the staff person, Dan McGinn, assistant city manager, said, don't take any action to the Type B board. They listened but took action anyway. So we've been handling this case just like we do every other case, and we didn't vote to take the money away. We can't do that. The Type B board did.
So there's nothing we can do, correct, Miles?
You know, the only thing I think he could do is if you want to contribute to the project, we'd have to find another funding source that you control. But this council doesn't control the Type A or B monies. The board does that you appoint. So if you found some other money, if we could identify other funding that you have discretion over this council, then we could do something there. We'd have to work with it.
Does he have any resources
The Type B board it is actually a separate corporation. So just like the Type A corporation, it's a separate corporation. And being separate corporate entities.
So next week I can submit a memo to change the board member if I wanted to. Correct?
Yes, it would.
At any given time.
Buildings off. There is no difference
serve
in the system tools. We might not have expected that. And under utility.
Charles, 814.
Finally, it is worth noting that all of the extra applications included
have almost the same serial number.
Free in the court.
Okay, I want to make sure.
However,
also work without installing a driver.
It has always been my position that we need to treat people fairly and the same. Right? They should all have the same opportunity. So we have a situation where this particular organization, Next Sports Company, had some issues around, I guess their contracts are taking water. They had some complaints, but this is not, there's some legal issues. But I don't recall this being an issue. I mean,
control and
I don't recall this going after when Sam Kane Beef owed us, $60,000 in unpaid utility bills. We have, we've got to treat people the same. And unfortunately, I don't think things were adjudicated before the funding was removed from this company. All the work should have been done beforehand. The municipal court should have been, all the legal questions should have been addressed and completed prior to this coming to Type B. Who put this on their agenda?
They did. The Type B board put it on, and everything you're saying, we advised them that, we recommended that yesterday, saying we would recommend you delay on any vote.
Okay.
And they listened, but they voted anyway. We don't vote, nor did we encourage them to vote.
Okay, well, I think we need to recommend them to review this or hold off until everything's adjudicated.
Yeah, that's what we told them. We knew today municipal court, that Dr. Kingsley would be in municipal court today. He's there today. The police chief has finalized his review of this.
And that's fine. Like I said, we want to make sure that we treat people fairly and let the process go through beforehand. Now, I don't know, when they terminate the agreement, that doesn't have to come back to the council for approval.
Correct, it doesn't. The agreement's not with the council, it's only with the Type B board.
That's correct. We can only approve the agreements, but if they decide to cancel the agreement, that's not something we have to bless.
That's correct. Yep.
What about saluting our fighter pilots this Christmas? I want to see the picture of the fighter pilots.
So, well, I mean, that's designed that way because it's a fund. It's just like when we appoint to, the RTA. That once they're appointed, they're responsible for the funding that's associated with it. So there's some specific separations of powers that are good in some cases, bad in others.
Location, so 10-20.
Ultimately, I think this is going to have to be a conversation that us individually will probably have to have with Type B board members to kind of address how they should, consider due process. Ultimately, I don't want, I'm not going to condemn someone or revert any of their issues, until everything is kind of settled, right?
All right.
Until we have, if there's a lawsuit, then the lawsuit should be, reviewed and completed before moving forward with something. It's just, you're not guilty until proven innocent. So, it's unfortunate that Type B decided to go in that direction. Then I don't know what they heard. I don't know what was presented to them. I don't know what information they had. So I don't want to condemn them either, but I'm disappointed that we did not go through the entire process, both internally and with the municipal board, making these kind of decisions.
The we is not us, so Councilman, it's the Type B board elected yesterday after we told them we would recommend delaying any vote, but they listened and they decided to vote anyway.
Like I said, I will reach out to individual board members and see if I can get
I think that's you're right. I think that's the best course.
Thank you.
Suggest either if we can reach out and we can, if that's more appropriate to the chair, because I think this body needs to know exactly what took place, and they can write it out or however they want to do it, but just inform us.
Right. We can put that request into them, and we work with them, just like we work with the city council.
Thank you.
We did, just for the record though, regardless of who did it, there was a criminal offense and a municipal court offense. Somebody did something they shouldn't have done. And with the city staff does not look the other way. So we have to look into it, write them up, issue them a ticket, whatever, I don't know what the right words are, but we can't allow people to break the law, especially the city's water system. And so we did what we needed to do, and we were fair and equitable, and we treat everybody the same. And we did the same thing here.
Thank you. Councilwoman Paxton. I would always advocate that we follow due process, and if there has been an error, make the appropriate adjustments to repair that. Additionally, I recognize that this is a small business owner that is trying to invest in a section of our town that truly will benefit from it. It doesn't sound like, and I haven't spoken to anyone representing that group myself, it doesn't sound like they're interested in leaving things on a bad note. It sounds like they're trying to make steps to repair any damages that they,
it just sounds like
it
that
sounds
warbling sound that you heard
unknowingly
when I tuned in.
were party
That
to.
particular thing.
So
That's
I'm
one of
sensitive
those
that it is
things.
still in case, so I'm trying to choose words carefully. But, keeping that in mind, under the consideration that they would like to make, you know, the appropriate amends, and this body, our organization, made a recommendation to
Location,
the board,
10-20.
pause, let's let this play out. They're trying to take
everything you need to put your brand in front of fans. We print banners and signs that help your business stand out. We print postcards and flyers that get your top. We print must-have merch like tote bags, t-shirts, and water bottles.
one thing or another. Is there something we can do to one, recommend a revisit?
Generally speaking,
Two,
before I got this job,
I'm curious what this sounds like. What was their justification? Completely disregarding that, or well, I say completely disregarding, but I don't know.
Yeah, Dan McGinn was there for us yesterday. Dan, what did they say? Because you did this in executive session or open session. So you encouraged them in executive session to, you had several points that you told them. One, he's going to municipal court. Two, what's the case play out? Go ahead.
We wanted to provide an update because we
Processed.
did issue,
Quarantine 0.
Not we, the board did.
the board issued a letter to cure within 60 days, which was the end of December. It didn't happen because the court date was pushed back to the
Normalization
13th.
complete.
And so we just wanted
Move
to make
to
the
18
board aware of
files to
that,
processing
and some of
0.
the communication that I've had with the attorney and Dr. Kingsley about where they were at with the municipal court, and they had talked to the DA, and that those things were kind of in the works, but no action has taken place yet. So we really just wanted to provide an update on those two things, and then we also wanted to make them aware about the item being placed on the agenda for today, that it happened pretty late last week. We just wanted to make sure they were aware of all those things, and that, you know, that we plan to bring this back in February. Hopefully those two items with the court will be not finished, at least we'd have a decision. So that's where, as a staff, we left it there.
At the time, I didn't know.
Is there a chance
that's big
that they could bring this back to the agenda for revisit?
Agenda today. We also
All we can do is ask.
the contract manager from Pave Dawson be here today because of my working with him.
We gotta find the money
Nick as well. He's an outstanding leader.
And there would be several possibilities
I'm not sure if
after
we'd be
that
this
vote.
far
Like you said, a vote
if
to
it wasn't for Chris from Pave Dawson. So he's going to present to the council a little bit today too, just so you'll get to see him.
They could seek a different separate contract, vote to reinstate, you know, that there's some possibilities if they requested.
Workers that were in that building
And just
to meet at.
can I just speak to
Preliminarily,
Councilman Cantus? We
all we
recommended
have
this project
is
years
a
ago,
suspect
when we
that
actually
was
helped
a
Dr.
male
Kingsley, because initially the
dressed in black.
sizing of the property
It is
wasn't
unknown
right.
how he
It was an
entered the
issue of
building, but we do
having to
know that
cross,
he exited the
Old
Hope
Brownsville
Street
Road
side
to the
of
parking
that
lot.
complex.
So we actually had staff help him kind of
we're utilizing
reconfigure.
every resource
We're
possible
still advocates for the
to find this
project. This is a
suspect.
great
The shelter in place
development,
is in
not too
order,
far
and
from the
I
city's
urge
golf
people
course
to take
over
that
there.
very serious. Please do not come.
We're supportive of the project. We've helped to advance it. But the Type B board is the one that makes the policy decision, and they have wrestled over the years with extensions in the contract. The municipal court tickets and the criminal case, they were concerned about it, and I think that's why they voted to cancel the contract. The contract had a very clear provision that says if the contract recipient breaks the law, the contract can be voided. And they determined that that's what happened.
It just sounds like
That is one.
We don't have the
we hit the holidays, dates changed. There was the difference of a couple of weeks. And I think that if those things had transpired in their timeline, it would potentially a much different.
I think part of the issue is, to Councilman Cantu's point, is Dr. Kingsley is not an expert at building stadiums. He's a pediatrician, and he may not have the right type of help to help him do this. And so we've helped. Michael Dice has helped knowing that. But that's maybe the issues, is some could be unintentional. We're not sure about, did he know that his crews illegally tapped into the city's, the region's water supply system? We can't get a good answer on that, but so it's where we're at is where we're at right now.
Well, hopefully we can see about a couple of those measures we discussed to see about requesting a revisit, maybe something along those lines.
Okay, we'll work with the board chair. They do meet monthly, but they can have a special meeting as well, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Councilman Scott.
I thought I'd weigh in. I was at the closed session on this item, and I was alarmed by what was shared with me by city staff. I thought I was alarmed and concerned about that project and what you all presented. I maybe told Eric I thought some of our response was a little excessive, but I was alarmed by what happened, you know, so I don't want that, I want the public to lose sight. I've got a lot of respect for the type B folks. I find this fascinating. I'm disappointed they met and decided yesterday. I would like either the mayor or council them to come and exec in public, whatever it's supposed to tell us. My sense is that maybe they knew some things, and we haven't really articulated the timeline from beginning to now, which I think is important. Right? I think there was there's additional information that might be relevant to why they made the decision they made that hasn't been shared because it's either privileged or it's an ongoing investigation. But I think we as a body, I want to hear it, and I guess I can call them. I know most of them, but I do think the body ought to hear, hey, why did you do what you did? And I think that's appropriate. I mean, we appoint you, and you did something that we kind of thought was odd, and so I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you know more than I know, and I'd kind of like to, be on the same page. So my ask would be to ask the type B board to come and present the information they had or why they made the decisions they made. I think that would be important before I had any kind of conversation about anything going forward. That was my 2 cents.
Yeah, we can do that, Councilman. The issue here this afternoon is that this was placed, on the agenda late last week, so we haven't had the opportunity to get completely organized, but there is a lot of history to this. This project, how many years now? It's 3 years, maybe 4.
The original agreement was 2020.
2020, okay, so 7 years this has been going on, so there's a lot of history, and the board chair, Summers, has been on the type B board probably for most of that time, so she has the advantage over us here of more access to information, and their thought process may be a little bit different than what we would come up with if we're just hearing it from the periphery for the first time. But, so we'll work with them to see how do they come in and talk to the council. I mean, they're an extension of the city. The way the type A, B boards work are governed by state law, because we use sales tax for economic development. We got to do what state law says. So the council appoints them, but they're a very independent authority. So to speak, the contract is not with the council, it's with them and Next Sports. So we'll bring them here, but we'll get organized and try to show a timeline of how long this has been going on, how many deadlines there is. The chief investigator, we can see what his, generally if he can speak about what he looked at, his municipal court tickets that the judges over there was hearing today. And we can have a presentation and show what happened. It's to try to get all this done in a few minutes and have an audience understand everything we're talking about. It's not going to happen today because the item was just introduced last week by council. So we need to do more due diligence. We could put together a presentation, bring in the right people from type B board and help council better understand it.
And I would recommend that any matters involving existing legal matters, like criminal charges that may be pending, be done in executive session because of the potential for interference with law enforcement. We can make these, we've made a presentation in executive session in November, and we can always update that if requested.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Vaughn.
Well, Eric, I'm glad that you brought it forward, and that's the reason I signed it, because I think every councilman, if they have concern, should get to put something on the agenda. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I will say this. The city's not at fault here, because if someone is stealing water, you do get a ticket. But he probably was not the one doing it. It was probably a worker who was probably know about it. So not to hear him out is a shame. And I'm very disappointed. I think that the Type B board showed very poor judgment, bad judgment. Whenever you ask, and Dan McGinn asked them not to do it, they should have at least given you the courtesy to came back and said, this is the reason we did it. And they didn't do that. They've been on my list because today on that parking lot that was not economic development. So anyway, I just think that they should come forward and they should explain it to us. But I think they should have waited till the lawsuit was over, because you're assuming someone's guilty, pursuing it before they even have a chance to present it. So I think that was bad judgment, and that's a concern that we have. There's nobody on there that stopped and said, hey, let's wait until we get the final outcome. The thing I do want to ask you is, you said that I think you got a ticket for watering on the day.
That was one of the tickets. We got watering on a day, but that's not our attention. Well, it's in municipal court today. I'm not sure because he's in court.
Okay, I want to ask you this, because I've said this before. Before I got on council, my husband, I think, left the water hose running in the backyard. So I got a ticket. I needed $500. He immediately paid it.
Right.
So did he have the opportunity to pay it? And he didn't do it.
Correct. Yeah, he had the opportunity to pay the window fine, as they call it, but he elected to see the judge. That's what he's done today. Yeah, that was his choice, not ours.
Okay.
You could have did what your husband did and paid the bill.
I don't hold the city or the police accountable for this. I mean, he's accountable. But I do wish the Type B board had not done it like they did. That was just not right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, this project was brought to me in 2019 as a district council member. I remember originally their initial site was initial site of High School. It was moved.
I kind of wanted like bacon a cake. You have all these ingredients. On the right-hand side here of all the little ingredients that we need to, at the end, produce a report that says we've done our due diligence and that this project is going to try in terms of it's designable, it's contracted, and it's ready to be moved forward with. All those things also have to happen in a very short period of time.
I know when we initially brought the application, it was financing. There were some challenges with financing. Dare I say, I used my influence with the board to at least move further, because then it was a payment of performance. So we worked out through that to get the payment of performance. During that time, obviously the pandemic came. We were able to utilize that to encourage the Type B board to extend the deadline at that time, of which they were supposed to have all permits and to move forward with basically their action plan. At one time, there was a hotel involved. There was a big grand plan, of which at one time we tried to remain optimistic. And my argument at that time, as is always, is it's just a grain field with that has an ag
some
exemption.
strange UI decisions.
And if we can build anything out there, then somebody's going to have to pay taxes on it.
And it's clear.
And so that's basically what we went to the Type B board and asked them to continue to move on. Does anyone here know how many extensions we've granted?
Do this, you will get the best opportunity to install
That was the course of how many years?
The original agreement was approved October 2020. The last amendment, the third amendment, occurred in April of 2025.
Okay, so I think one thing I just want to make clear, I want to commend city staff for all the work they've done. I mean, with regard, we talk a lot about consistency, and if
every part of its services.
If a crime is committed by a developer or property owner, then they should take responsibility no matter who it is that they hire. They have to take responsibility for the contractors they hire. I just read a motion for taking responsibility for something that was not entirely our fault.
Location also 10-20.
Subsidies expiring or not is not working for people. You've got residential supervision, and I think the talk that was your house is come up with this price.
Carlos, look at your take in talking to a White House
so now we've gone through this process, and much
the
to
possibility that there could be an 11th hour deal. Is that person being realistic? Do you think that there could actually be an 11th hour deal there?
It's a crime to
you can understand why be here today.
I want to commend them for following the process of
He is an outstanding leader
now,
in advancing this
somehow or another,
project. I'm not sure if we'd be this far
individual
if it wasn't for Chris
wants to
from Pate
invest money.
Dawson. So
They
he's
still
going
have
to
the
present to the council a little bit today, too, just so you'll get to see
said
him.
that they were going to do back in 2020. We've amended that on 3 different occasions, which takes staff time, which takes type B time. So I think it's just very premature to bring this here and to hurl accusations at staff. When you guys did your job, you just said you commit that you gave them several opportunities, and we said we made 3 amendments, so that takes staff time to be able to do that. In addition, we have an individual that has tapped into resources that we don't know to what level, if it is a felony or not, they took more than $1,500 worth of water.
Location 10-20.
And there's no way that we can have it. So I just don't want to get to the point as to where we're trying to blame staff for the negligence of the department. Whether he did it or not, that's whether it's with intent or not, that's for the district attorney to decide, not us to decide. And to waste staff time or to use staff time until we let all that play out, I just think it's wrong. I appreciate those guys on the Type B board. They've been taking a lot of scrutiny lately.
-5 in progress.
We're making good decisions. It doesn't necessarily have to be the decision that we make because we want to support the process. But I want to commend them, and I want to commend you, 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 and I want to commend you back there because you've done everything you can to try to help those kids on the west side. And I appreciate it. Thank you much.
Councilwoman Campos.
Thank you, Mayor. I did agree for this discussion to come because I wanted clarification and I wasn't sure why the Type B board, the way I saw it, was rushed. But it has been brought to light. There has been 3 extensions on this particular project. The time is really disappointing, because here they are the very next day, maybe hopefully getting that resolved. And it is disappointing that they couldn't wait at least a week for this. I also am curious how much they have invested in this project. Do you know, Dan? Do we know overall how much has this company, has Next Sports Company invested in this? $4 million. How much, I think they have the soccer field right now. What do they have now?
Correct. They have completed phase 1, which includes 6 soccer fields, grass, 2 artificial fields that are multi-purpose. Well, they're all really multi-purpose. In the context of modern parking lot is completed lights.
Because I've been fortunate enough to be able to go and watch my granddaughter go play in one of those fields, and it was just really nice to be able to see how nice the field was and how lighted and what have you. But again, it is very disappointing that we couldn't come to an agreement just by talking to one another and finding out just a little bit more. It is good that it was brought to light. I hope that we and they are able to resolve this issue and hopefully still be able to complete this project. I'll do whatever I can to help them. But again, I just wanted to just hear it from
location
just how much they have actually invested, and it's already been quite a bit. And we're just starting to see the fruits of their labor. So anyway, that's all I had to say. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilwoman. That's all the
MM-based checks. The evaluator agent
remarks.
and the planner agent will
So
then
we're going to go and move
talk
on. I'll
back
be
and
taking action
forth
to this.
until a plan is refined
Maybe
and
coordinate
improved
something.
matches.
Yeah, we'll work with the type B
Finally,
board chair.
the explainer agent will
Probably put something on the
present
27th
final result
agenda or
to the user.
maybe the first one in February, depending on our timing.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to item number 23. Okay, any requests from the public? Yeah, I'm so sorry. We didn't open public comment on this. If you'd like to make public comment on item number 22.
Location, Sir 10-20.
Robin Cox, District 3. I'm not the one. You know, I had at least 3 times, I'm a landlord, and I had tenants break the meters, and I had to pay. I had to pay for it. And I always thought it was unfair that the meat plant got to walk away scot-free with millions of dollars. But on a sidebar note, this is for everybody at home, everybody out here, I want to take note that on January 13th at 4:45, Peter Zanoni said, we can't let people break the law. So we all need to take note of that. We can't let people break the law. So that law is for not only for this, but for other things coming up. I just wanted to let know that he says you can't let people break the law, and that's not to do with this. It's to do with things we're talking about later.
Come to the office for an escort.
Rachel Caballero, D1. I'm not a politician, and I'm not forced to play the solid game that's being played now. Staff does lie, you do lie. Everybody does illegal things that I've witnessed over the course of the last 5 years. So that was a line of crapola.
A White House official. I was told, look,
And Councilman, maybe you have the doctor reach out to one of the city managers, 8,000 consultants to get help maneuvering through his project. This goes to picking and choosing the winners and losers in town. Because nothing was done to South Texas beef. Nothing's been done to Bootstrap.
It's gone.
Nothing was done to the Wilson Plaza when they were arrears in their water bills. So this is a blatant attempt at picking winners and losers. And this is the type of behavior that this community is done with. So we will be making the necessary decisions come November to end this. Thank you.
Know nothing about it, hasn't even heard of it. It was absolutely devastating for her colleagues and for her family. And I think we all can agree in this room that we have to stop
I've worked with just about all of you in my previous job. I'm now with Corpus Christi FC and the Next Sports Company. I think you guys know me that I don't misconstrue things, and I just have to come and say this is definitely just a misunderstanding between all parties. I definitely agree with a lot of you that this was done in haste between the Type B board because we didn't even know they were voting on it. Our lawyers didn't know they were voting on it. Nobody had any idea. We've been working with David Danny. All the work Dan's been doing, he's had our back trying to get us resolving through all of this. We've done what we can to try and make amends for this. We want this problem. We want to have a great relationship with the city. We've been trying to fix this problem as diligently as we can. I spoke with attorneys before coming here today, and what I've been told is that their decision is based on the criminal charges that have been brought up here. But from what they've told me is that the DA is not going forward with the charges. We are just waiting for a letter stating that they're not going forward with this, and they definitely moved out of haste with this.
Again, there's not really much to see. What I'll do right now is make it a bit more interesting. You have these two links when they exist. It's okay. It also handles updates for your system and for your application. In fact, I'll do it if you want to. And it also does. Now what I'll do is recall our previous German CTL computer this one to here, everything is and you can see right here that we have some lines. Anytime I restarted the service, you can see.
Pro team coming. That's exciting. First pro soccer team in Corpus Christi. It's gotta be exciting. So I'm excited for it. I mean, I do pay people's jobs instead of sticking with news. So you know I'm passionate about this, and I think that speaks to it. You guys see that this
haven't been able to go through that yet. In all, we also were told, I just got the numbers from Doge, that they say 300,000 federal workers are no longer with the federal government. But listen, most of that is from people who left for attrition.
Corpus Christi Animal Care Services on daily operations, staffing levels, intake and outcome data, and current challenges. Also an update on the timeline and process for filing or filling the Animal Care Services Director position with clarification on leadership continuity during the transition as requested by council members Eric Cantu, Carolyn Vaughn, and Kaylin Paxson. Oh, who's going to speak on that? Councilman Cantu.
Thank you, Mayor. Do you guys have a report for me?
So good afternoon, Sony Parnell, Assistant City Manager. So there was a comprehensive report that we sent at the end of December. Don't remember the exact day, but we sent it to council, and in that report, it was about the fiscal year 25 Citygate report, which is a multi-year phased recommendation strategy. So we completed the FY25 schedule, and so we did send that report out to City Council, as well as an update on the capital improvement projects that City Council approved last fiscal year. And so those we've been sending out bi-monthly by way of mail, but in December we included it as part of the update on the CLP projects. We'll be sending that to council bi-monthly. So the next one will be sent to council in February.
So we have nothing for today. Do you have anything to show me today? Any numbers? How many animals got killed last month?
So for that report, that would be our shelter statistics. So on those, we do post annually as well. So the report that we sent to council is on Citygate. But we do have the information regarding our shelter statistics, our outcome, our live release rate, our euthanasia.
Renaming complete. 1,236 files renamed.
And then what we'll do as well is we'll resend the council the comprehensive report that we had sent out in December as well. Yes, sir. And for the community, those statistics are available on our website. They're updated monthly on our animal care website, the shelter statistics.
So you have nothing to show us on the screens?
We can go ahead and
we don't, Council. So this, this is a 3-signature memo, and we know you authored it. And we appreciate and respect that.
Okay. So how about this?
Councilman, can I just finish what you're saying there? So if the council wants us to put a presentation on the next council's agenda, we're not sure if the majority of the council wanted the presentation. It's 3, it's not 9, and so. The council needs to, the item is to discuss, do you want to hear a briefing? What Sony said is what we did do, but also it was prior to this item, it was before this item, we did send a report like we normally do. It's a good comprehensive report. We're not prepared today. The 7 signature memos, we wouldn't have had time to get ready to do all these in good shape for today. The next council meeting's January 27th, so we can present and on the screen, and council can get it ahead of time through the normal business process. It takes a little bit of time to prepare material to include them in the agenda posting. We're not trying to delay or
okay. So
dodgy issue, Councilman.
So what's the status of getting a new director?
Yeah. So on that one, we
my personal opinion, Peter, we have a lot of great candidates who applied for the director position, and I just don't understand why we're waiting so long for this, and that department is not ready, and we're putting out almost for space, they're gonna say they're tied, they're gonna label them as medical reasons, and however, the answers, what do we need to do? We need to put on the next election in November to do something bigger, kennels, get the money, employees, whatever the case is. But I can tell you this, there is a whistleblower in your department, and they tell me stuff every day. And you guys are killing animals every day for space, and you're listing them under medical.
Emotional journey alongside each other.
So actually, we don't euthanize every day. That's one. And then when we do euthanize, it is laid out on the reports that are available to all of the public every month.
It's a lie on the medical. You're killing animals for space, and you're marking them under medical reasons.
And in 2025, we humanely euthanized 20 for space, which is 2.8% of all of the ones that were euthanized. And before they're euthanized for medical reasons, they're received by a veterinarian.
Because actually, the majority of people whether it's on Channel 6, on my channel, or have not really spent much time together.
Checklist that we go through. So any animal that is euthanized for a reason other than ordered by a veterinarian is signed off by 2 members of leadership. The euthanasias that occur for space
right away had to do this when I got home, I checked it. It looked clean, but deep in the grooves,
You probably know this.
I smelled it.
If an animal has medical issues, it's really bad.
Look, I get it. Aggressive
I always
animals.
cleaned it well,
I get
hot
it.
water,
You know,
soap,
the ones that
but I found wood cutting boards absorb juices like a sponge.
no
Bacteria like
treatment for
E.
them.
coli and
They're gonna die.
salmonella.
There's so I understand
Where bleach
that. I
can't
understand
even
we
reach.
can't make it a
I got
whole
sick. I threw it out on the
kill
spot.
Corpus Christi.
Thankfully,
It's not
it's not
possible
working
because of the aggressive animals and the ones are sick. But to kill animals because of space, because this city didn't do crap for the shelter for years. And we're so behind on everything on the shelter. That's the last thing we care about. This council's all they care about was other stuff but the shelters. But we're giving $2 million for a damn parking lot.
Location, what's your 10-20?
And when we talk about this, they say, hey, well, maybe we could find a owner to help us build some kennels. Those aren't their problems, our problems. This is a city problem. We need to fix this problem. Once and for all. I mean, animals die every day for space. You guys can say it's not true, but it is true. Our cremation machines broken for months. They dump the bodies in the damn landfill. That's sick. It blows my mind how this city does that. We have money to go ahead and pay for crane service for the American Bank Center for $500,000.
Hello.
We have money for consultants. We have money for all this, but the animals, they're voiceless. Like, no, screw them, right? Just kill them. BS. It's not right. How can you guys sleep at night doing that? Like, it blows my mind. Like, I can't wrap myself around it. And, you know, the city is so full that we find people for feeding animals on the streets. You want us to not feed them and let them starve.
Quarantine, 0 empty folders.
Sickening.
LVC JSON generation complete with worded series files.
Directly, I have some blame towards you guys because you guys are telling
Workflow
me
complete with fixed JSON.
that it's medical reasons. I know it's BS. And I just don't understand why we do this. And you know, every time they say, well, we don't have the money for it. We don't have the money. We don't have the money. We don't have money. But we have money for other things. We have money for desal. We have money for streets. We have money for parking lots. We have money for hotelers. But the problem we have here, public safety issues. We have aggressive dogs on the streets. We have sick dogs that need to be put down, are struggling and suffering. no care. What are we going to do to fix this problem? Can we hire a consultant so we can put this on the agenda for November? No care.
Councilman, so we have hired a consultant, right? The city gate consultant is doing a great job. She's still on retainer with us. I would say the staff is doing that. We're going to be careful about.
Dr. Jason, securities
Standing at the podium and shouting at them, but it's tough enough already. So I do ask for some level of care for the staff in this issue. We are doing the best we can do with the financial resources allocated. That's why when we do the budget every year, we sit down with the city council and see what are your biggest priorities. This is a council decision, so if we want to get to where you want to get, Councilman, we can get there. Nobody wants to euthanize dogs or cats at animal care. These guys are the most impassioned people with animals in the city in terms of city department staff. So the issue is, if we want to invest millions more, then we need to know that when we sit down with the council at budget time. And I just want to finish, please. And we can't generate millions more, so we have to take it from some other place. And so it's a prioritization. And that's what we need to hear from council this coming months. If you want to invest millions, it'll take millions. $100 million with a building, plus more million for operating. If we want to do that, no problem. But we have to decide what we're not going to do.
It's going to cost $100 million because we overpaid for everything. I mean, how much does it cost to put a warehouse and kennels so we don't have to have this fancy building and all this fancy stuff? I mean, it's just, and you're saying months, so we're going to have animals getting killed till we get our crap together. It's BS. We need to fix the problem now. Find a consultant, put it on the November election, let the people decide.
We can do that. I saw that too from you, and that's no problem. We can put it on the ballot if you want to increase your property tax rate, build more kennels, hire more staff, then let us know. That's a good policy recommendation, Councilman, right? And you said it right, which is that it's unfortunate for the city. This area has been underinvested in for decades. It's another decades of neglect story. So we're trying to catch up best we can. We're spending millions right now based on the council's policy to improve the kennels. We have the consultant who's given us a report of
When's the last time we've done anything for the shelter besides the very last $4 million that we just got before that?
Well, that's probably it. You know, there's been some minor things in my 7 years, but the kennels were built, but they weren't built for adoption. They were built for setup. And so this council, we recognize that. We had the consultant give us a recommendation how do we improve that. We'll work on really, it's a policy money choice. What do we not do anymore? And our revenues are less than ever, and so now the decision is just tight. You know, do we do libraries? Do we do parks? Do we do animal care? So we have to make those decisions collectively with the council. We'll give you information, and that consultant's great, Jan, who from Citygate, that gave us 169 ways to improve animal care, and that was a report that was sent out in December that showed how much of it is done and not done. With respect to the director, I would disagree that we've passed up viable candidates. We have had a consultant again, a headhunter and recruiter, who is leading the recommendation on do we pick this person out for an interview. The pool has been limited. We've interviewed a few people, and we don't recommend them. We're not going to hire somebody if they don't fit, if they're not the right hire. So we wish we could hire somebody, as do many other municipal animal care facilities. This is a tough position to fill. And so recruiting, we have a new recruiter. We give different perspectives, advertising. Next week, the position they're working this week on finalizing the job spec. I personally have increased the level of compensation in the job spec to be one of the highest paid directors in the city. I've included in there a car allowance, clothing allowance, relocation allowance, and a sign-on bonus. And even with that, we can't get a candidate. So we're trying. We're trying like hell. And the new recruiter hopefully will bring a different level to help us. So we know that. We know that. So we need good leadership at the director level. Katie's been doing a decent job, and she knows that we're going to look for somebody that has more direct experience in the animal care world. And that's what we're working on now.
What's the process to put this?
And here we are back on the desktop.
What we would do is work over the next several weeks with the council, with Jan, to identify how would we phase in how would we phase in less euthanasia, or some goal to get to some, it's not no kill, that's a kind of misnomer. How would we?
I don't think it'll be a big problem then on my next agenda item.
At least from my experience, I'm spotting
not to
more
kill
iPhones
for space.
than
So
any
you
other
only kill
device.
for $20
And these are the ones
a year
broadcasting
supposedly, so we could just pass
They're the
it.
most vulnerable.
I just
In the
spent time
US,
with city
57%
managers.
of households have iPhones. So I wouldn't be
Like
surprised.
600 kennels.
Except for my household, all my relatives are on iPhones. This app has
just one city.
We get 1,000 people over here in Corpus Christi.
We need more kennels, is my point. So we need more kennels, nobody's denying that. That company makes sense to manage the kennels, and you gotta clean them and take care of the animals. So that's why we have to show you this. We're not even close to being ready to show you anything here, but we got the message of the council. We need direction from the majority of the council. If you want us to
except for my household, all my relatives
to show you what it would take to get the council
This app has more advanced features.
Desire, we can do that. Nobody over here is not
Although
trying to do that.
English
So
isn't
make sure the council
particularly
wants us to do that. And then with Jan, we'll show, with Citygate, we'll show you how we can phase it in over time. What would be the financial commitment in a bond program in the next budget, the 2027 budget, and we can get there. Councilman, so that's our position. We have the right help to help us develop a plan for you all if you want
I just
it.
don't understand why we haven't had a plan.
Well, we do. We're taking, what we've done is we've had an animal care, it wasn't even called animal care, but it was in the police department, managed by Chief Markle. So we moved it out of there, step one, several years ago. That's plan number one. Plan number two is we've added 3 million. The budget used to be 2 million, now it's 5 million. So we've doubled the staff. We've tried to bring in more professionals. We're improving the kennels, but it's incremental. And what the council has to understand in the community is that when you have decades of neglect, decades of bad decisions, you don't turn things around in a year or 2 years. It takes a lot of time. Because we're talking about 29 lines of business. We can be here for the same issue, the library, the parks, the police, the fire. It seems easy, sidewalks, to say, let's fix this right now. We have 29 other things that demand money and time, so what can the council? So what I need is direction from the council. If the council says, Peter, yes, the 3 signature memo that was submitted warrants 5 of us saying, please do that. And we want the consultant we want to invest in the consultant to help us develop a plan so we can consider it for the budget and for the election coming up in November. You tell me to do that.
This is the infinite screen after all, right? So let's imagine I wanted to share my screen with my friends. I can open up Google Meet in another window.
There is
Or even
definitely
show you another
button
corner.
here. So I hope IT fixes it. I've been dealing with this all day. I'm at the last list.
Always wanted
First off,
to show up as
you
yourself.
may like Mr. Snow, you may not like him, you may like these ladies or not. We should all be respectful. You just don't need to
Location of certain
It's just wrong. I'm not going to accuse you of anything. I don't know what y'all are doing. There is a concern. Yes, there is. Of course there is. Part of the problem is you give us a verbal report on the thing, but I would love to see Mr. Snow to get a report, come back with a report, maybe quarterly, so the public knows what is going on. There were some numbers, how many animals were
System is
medical,
secure.
and I'd be curious to know what the medical reasons are, because I'm sure you keep those. Because people spread rumors, and there are some truths to rumors, and then some of them are just flat lies. You know, people get into that and they believe things that aren't true. They come up here and say things that aren't true. Some are true, some aren't. So I would just like for us to do maybe a quarterly report, because we've been wondering what's going on. And I met one of your candidates, and thank God you didn't hire her. So you didn't have the greatest candidates. I only met one, and I thought, no way. So and there are probably some problems here coming to Corpus Christi too, and we can blame this city for all of our animal problems, but it is the residences. They're the ones that have the animals. It is a cultural problem here, and that needs to be addressed. We probably need to look at legislative this year for punishment, kind of like Florida did, because they blow up everybody when it's wrong. Everybody does, and anything. I think
On the other, you have lightweight AI glasses.
And I would, if the city of Corpus Christi really wants to change what's going on,
and in the middle,
a kennel
devices
on the
blend the two.
see if they'll pass it.
use an
If they care
ecosystem
enough
of
about the
devices.
animals, they'll pass it, because we only have 100 kennels. And if you're going to build more, the city only has so much money. And this council and the previous council has put more money into animal control than ever before. So it's not that we're not doing anything that's not true. And it's frustrating. I know you all are with the dogs. I am too. And we have to change it, but I would like to see some documentation on the medical. Maybe if you can,
Right,
I think
and
you
a
have 3 minutes
multitude of
time, and I think everybody up here would want to hear.
We can do that for the 27th. We'll do, I go to the board meetings, animal care advisory board meetings, and the last one I went to in December, as they do every month, the staff presents to the board statistics, the same ones you're asking for. If you want to hear them, we can bring them in court.
I think it's important, and that way, if people hear them regularly, like every quarter, it only takes 30 minutes. I think that way your mind's not wandering, you're not imagining things.
Right, so we'll do that for the 27th, and we'll set it up quarterly, so we're reporting to you the statistics.
But I would just hope that we would be kind when we come up here and talk.
I agree.
Be kind. There's no sense in accusing. I know y'all don't want to come up here and face us or face the audience. We don't know what's true and what's not, so let's just try and be a little bit more civil. Thank you.
I agree, Councilman, thank you.
Councilman Scott.
Put your green lights on. I don't want to.
Way off.
Okay.
It is. I know.
There are some things here that I want to make clear. We had a 24% increase in funding from the budgeted from 2025 to 2026. Okay, so we went from, looking at the budget right here.
That may be true, Councilman, but if my statement was from years ago.
No, I'm talking about this is from things that we just don't want to have public care considering. It went from the budgeted, the college budget from 2024 to 2025 to $5,900,000. And then the budget 2025-2026 was $6,214,000.
For spay neuter and
Okay, I'm just talking about how much money we've allotted to animal control. Right? Look at our budget. And so what I'm saying is it has gotten the biggest increase of any department in the city. Am I wrong there?
I can't answer that. Do you know they got an increase when we had to reduce, we eliminated the department?
Over the last 2 years, we've added four personnel. We added people to organizations, some leadership, some technicians. I mean, we're investing.
Yeah.
Right? We're investing. You had recommendations from the consultant, 169, I believe.
That's
right?
correct, yeah.
Where are we on those?
We sent that out in December. We can set it. I don't know if y'all have them here today. You have it?
we were estimated to complete 65 for the first year, but we actually completed 92. 92. So we are ahead of schedule because we are working so closely with Citygate.
Okay, so I mean, this are some good information to come back to us on.
Yeah, we're going to do that on the. We know that has to be.
The very first entry on the top of the screen here is from March 25th at noon. So I was able to start the output from that date. And again, here's the command. It's definitely a very useful one to add to your notes. And this might be useful if you are investigating an issue that happened within a particular window of time, so that way you can avoid looking at log entries that are older than the event that you're investigating. So in this example, if something happened around noon on the
discussion about it in the budget process. So I want to make sure you understand there's expectations on that because we are investing. I would also look at other options for kennels. There's a lot of organizations out there that we can go and ask grants from. Let's not just let's maximize whatever we can get for these facilities, not just look at bond and taxpayer dollars, because there's a lot of other important things that we're doing, and I get that this is an issue for us, but I look at it from more this is a public safety thing, right? So I mean, if
you got to look at it from both sides. You got to look at it from the obviously the animal aspect of it and making sure we're humane in the way we're treating them. But we also, I don't want to be on the news like San Antonio was, where a pack of dogs killed somebody's grandpa.
You probably know Vistaprint for business cards.
So
but did you know
guys got
everything you need to get your brand in front of
heavy burden on your shoulders.
Banners and signs that help your business stand out. We print postcards and flyers that get people talking.
I can't say
must
enough.
have merch like
We're not
tote bags, t-shirts, and water bottles. Whether you want a few or a few thousand, we've done on every level so that customers can more freely
Just
your
one
brand
thing I learned
falling in love.
recently,
Right now, new
the city
customers can
managers
get
are trying to
20%
set it
off
up here as a
with
foundation.
because if you
So
need
we
it,
have like
we
Friends of
print
the
it
Library,
at
the
Vistaprint.com.
police, PAL Athletic Association, where people like this second row here who are so passionate about it can help leverage money for this foundation for animal care. So we're going to do that where we can get private donations, whether it's $5 or $5,000 or $5 million. We don't have it, so we're going to set that up. I just want to share that comment with you that that's coming. 500,000 is pretty close to 350. It's just an example, Councilman, that they have 600 kennels and we have 100.
Councilman Gump. Thank you, Mayor. Okay, just like you just said about the 169 recommendations that y'all have received, it really is good news to hear that we've already accomplished 92. At one time, we had code compliance or code enforcement send us monthly reports. I mean, it was kind of nice to hear, they would have like how many calls, were received in the month, and then it would have it would break it down by district and those kinds of things. I would like to see still some of those things, like, the 169 that you said, and we've accomplished 92, that's great. But again, I was just walking my dog yesterday, right? And I ran across Sean Flanagan, who used to come here pretty regularly and make public comment. He was just bit, by a dog. And here we are where, he's a dog lover. He was walking his own dog. And so I can see how, we need to find balance, right? I can commiserate with, Councilman Cantu, and we want a no-kill shelter, but I also feel that it's a comprehensive approach, and I do feel that we are investing in animal care services, and the only thing that I can see right now is that we've been without, you've given your notice. How long ago, Katie? I mean, it's above and beyond. I mean, I think it was supposed to be like September or something.
But I'm still here and going strong, and everyone at ACS is determined and dedicated, and so that's why I am still here until we find someone that is equally as dedicated as everyone that's there.
And it was a nice surprised to hear that Councilwoman Vaughn did actually get to meet one of the applicants, because that's one other thing that I would like to see is, how many applicants have applied, because I haven't heard anything. It's been a while since anyone has called me or said, but I know you keep saying, Peter, I know you keep saying that it's a hard or difficult position to fill, but again, can you what the qualifications are and what that base pay is now?
Sony can get the detail, but Councilwoman, as I said earlier, I have pushed the level of compensation for this position to a level that even the recruiter didn't want to do. I told them do it anyway. So one of the highest paid directors, we're going to do basically a company vehicle or a transportation allowance, a clothing allowance, a cell phone allowance, a relocation package bigger than any other director we've done, and a sign-on bonus. It's public information.
Okay, and what is the bonus?
salary that you're
I think it's
offering.
close to 200,000. Max is about 200,000.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, 200,000 is the maximum, so about 170 to 200,000.
Yes, it's close to 200.
200,000.
Close to it.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're looking for someone that has what kind of degree?
Right, so just like with executives, where it's the minimum degree is a bachelor's degree, we're looking for 10 years of progressive experience in animal welfare that has experience with field operations, shelter, clinic, office operations of animal care, right? Progressive experience. Also, it's preferable that it's a city of close to this size or larger. And then also too it's known on the application that they will be working with Citygate to implement the 5-year 60G plan as well. So that person would then it'd be good for them to have experience with implementation and process improvement.
Okay, so just to go back, our city is looking for someone that has a 10-year experience in animal care services, right?
Progressive, ideally. Progressive experience in animal welfare.
And a bachelor's degree. Okay, so those are the same qualifications that you had for our previous directors for all departments, because that's kind of what happened when, to come back to you, Peter, when you hired some of our directors, that you didn't comply with those requirements. So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
That's a real charge statement there.
Well, no, it's the truth.
So, number one.
Okay, it's the truth.
Let me finish. Number one, it's not every department director has that level of qualification. Number two, we really need the HR director at the podium. But number two, you can substitute years of service. You can substitute education. You can have work experience.
Okay. So
I'm just speaking about this particular job.
Yeah. Okay. But I'm just trying to get clarification so that people that are listening, because I hear that we have thousands of people listening.
Yeah, maybe Council, let me add to that. Those are the basic qualifications of robots. So we can make adjustments, you know what I mean? I'm saying that again. I'm saying that I'm not saying that to disparage you. I'm saying that for us. But we also have reason, and we can justify sometimes somebody that may not fit exactly that, because they fit in other ways. So we're doing that. We've done that with every applicant that's applied for animal care. We're not saying, okay, you have 9.6 years, so nope, you're out.
Okay, but bottom line is, Peter, is at the end of the day, you are the one that hires, it goes through HR, but you are responsible for hiring the employees. We are not as council. Okay, so I just, so you make those decisions, based on like what you just said, that it's not always just based on what, on paper, you have to have, 4 years, 10 years, and all that.
Right.
So I am just trying to make sure that we have that information out, that, we have so many animal advocates here that could surely help get someone qualified here. I mean, I know that y'all know people, and I know because y'all are always talking about finding homes in other states, and, in other areas. So I would love to see if you could get input from the animal community, because they may have some recommendations. So anyway, that's just a suggestion that I have. And the other is, please, if you can, provide us with, maybe monthly reports on a regular basis. That would be helpful.
Thank you,
In other words, that level of surveillance is
I think I got Carolyn Vaughn disease, so I got my lights on, nobody calls on me, and Eric and I are over here, and I can't talk to him because now it's lit up. I'll be quick. So, quickly, thank you for what you do. Thank you. Right? God bless you people. Thank you for what you do. Number one. Number two, my sense was the Citygate was a big deal. Y'all spent a lot of energy on that. I thought we were going through that. I think we're going through that. I think it sounds like a success story. Unless somebody tells me otherwise, I would like an update. Obviously, I did miss that November memo in all fairness, so I apologize for that. I think doing it in public is a cool deal. I To sign off to euthanize an animal. So it's not like whether I trust you or not, and I do. There's a third party, and it's a professional with a license who's made an oath, right? That's signing off on that document. So that the real issue would be if we think that we're falsifying documents to euthanize animals for space that aren't.
At the time, I didn't know
really,
how much it sucked.
it's really an accusation to a vet. That's my take. And I don't think you are, by the way. My sense is that you're not euthanizing for space. And I understand what goes on if we make that decision. Peter, I'll tell you, so we go to the deal last night. I'm listening to these people desperate for help because vagrants are taking over neighborhoods, starting, fires and abandoned houses, and I'm sitting there thinking the whole time how we eliminated, eliminated the demolition code. 600, I thought it was 600.
Yeah, right, the vacant building registration also.
Right. And I remember how it went down, and I own some responsibility, I guess, in that. But I was just thinking, if those folks, if we just had that fund, because it was all about, hey, we're going to get private companies to volunteer, and they can cheaper, better, faster, friendlier. But the real issue was we have an area town, right, that has this issue, and they need, it's fun. It's a money deal. So I'm all in the city gate. I euthanized one of my Labradors today, and so yesterday, so I'm really sensitive to this whole concept because he was my shadow. So I'm real sensitive to that. So I'm with you. I think we need to follow the city gate. That's my take. Is the city gate laid out a plan? We spent a fortune on them. We did a pretty comprehensive report. So my question is where we're at. Let's celebrate if we really are successful. But also want to keep in mind there are other needs. There are some people out there that desperately need some financial help that we can't provide because of budget limitations. And that's not you, that's us. I just wanted to articulate that in the group that if you'd have been at the Flower Bluff meeting last night, you'd have gone, oh man, that fund that we eliminated that could have prevented that fire. Because that was one of the things is demolishing abandoned houses so they don't become opportunities for vagrants.
And the registration of them.
Right.
I mean, the chief, he's not there, but most of our fires over the last quarter have been vacant buildings. I asked him to actually, he'll send me reports when there's a fire. And I'm asking him now, is it a vacant home or an active home? And most of them are vacant. And so we're spending tons of dollars on our fire department to respond to vacant homes that we don't know are vacant.
And incidentally, if you don't know, the neighbor went over and knocked on 2 other houses, one of which was starting to burn also, and saved their lives. They claim it saved their lives.
That's why we recommended that now.
So we have a lot of needs. There's a lot of needs that didn't mean a lot to a lot of people. I support City Gate, looking forward to go forward plans.
Yeah. So we did send, it was a really well done report in December, and that's already mailboxed, but we're going to put this on we'll put that same report and presentation on the meeting in January 27th. And we do need to continue with Citygate. They've been with us for over 2 years, and so they know what we're doing. Jan Glickman, one of the agents from Citygate that's with us, is like staff augmentation. They're helping us on the implementation. And they're the ones that, if the council wants us to, will help us develop a program to invest more money.
And I appreciate our other shelters in town. I know San Jacinto Title, my employer, is a big contributor to one of them. We're on what they call the Wall of Fame. And it's not me, that's the company's contribution. So I appreciate all that you all do. Thank you. I appreciate what you do, and Sonia, I appreciate your leadership. I say let's just follow the lead of the city gate. Move as fast as we can afford.
One small correction, so it wasn't 92. What was the RP's name? It was completed 96.
Thank you for that. I want to thank the second row ladies, Veronica, and so many of you, because I know that you well, no, don't be sorry for that, Veronica, because I think, and maybe it is understanding, I appreciate you, Councilman Kintu, bringing this forward, because at the end of the day, it's about caring about the animals, and we all do. Y'all know that. How many animals have we saved on a phone call? I mean, I was on a text earlier about a dog. You know about it. So, but it shouldn't work that way. And as the city manager said, it's a very long journey, and you who are in the trenches, it's hard. I just have to have that patience. We're up here going, I was at this last night, a woman in tears because it could have been her home. It was right across the street or right in the same facility with the fire. I mean, the fire was set because
The chief told me about it.
And he's always referring to the mission by a stray dog.
Because how responsible would it be to say, we're going to do, we're not going to, we're going to save every single animal. You have, to me, rescues, foster. We have to strengthen that. That doesn't take a consultant. That doesn't take a $200,000 director to me. And that's what I want to hear from y'all. I want to know what are we doing there? Who's creating or improving, let's like low-hanging fruit. Forget 1,000 kennels and millions of dollars and air condition. Because we care about our animals. It all matters. But how about we just start with low-hanging fruit? To me, foster and rescue is where we have to start. Because if every time I get that call and we have somewhere, if it's not CCAC, and we have a strong, I don't even know what that, you all probably know what that looks like, then I think that's gonna help, and those are little things that we can do on our level. But the other thing I'd like to see, and I really don't know much about it, but I know I hear a lot, and I don't think it takes all of this rigmarole to address, and that is the application for rescue. I hear it is too complicated, it's ridiculous, and it's just to the point where some people are like, forget it. And some people, I think we're talking even out of state, rescues that help us or not. And so I don't want y'all to address all of that right now. I'm stating, I get where this is all coming from. I've been an advocate, I was the advocate to start the spay and neuter. That never happened in this city until I said we have to allocate money, and it was $500,000. And Greg Smith said, I'm going to cut it in half. I said, I'll take the $250. That's better than nothing. But it started, and we have had spay and neuter at $250,000 for multiple years. That's one little thing, but you all know that. So this council needs to know, out of all those things that they are saying, right, City Gate, all these things are important, and we get it. What is the priority? Is it building the kennels? Is it air conditioning them? Is it, putting another $250 into spay and neuter? Is that going to make the difference? Is it investing in the rescue program? We don't know, because it just comes to us from all sides. And that's tough. So anyway, I appreciate the work you do. I appreciate it, and I know I get a little sassy sometimes too. As Councilman Hernandez mentioned, we are investing. Do we need more? Yes. Here's my word to you, my advice to you. When that budget comes around, that's when we need to hear from you.
Today,
to say,
we'll see exciting updates.
but you can pick one thing and say, double the spay and neuter. That's where we have an extra 250,000 or whatever, whatever that may be. Anyhow, thank you. I appreciate y'all. And ladies, I appreciate all of you and everything. And gentlemen, sorry, you're there. Okay, we've got Councilwoman Paxton, Councilman Barrera, and then we're very late on our public comment.
Copy following in order 0284.
I think it's very, this is a topic that is high emotion for a lot of us, most of us. We care about our animal members of the community so much, and I think a lot of us probably have some at home, and so it touches our hearts dearly, and so it's completely understandable, when we get those text messages that are just really difficult to read, and the challenge is when we come in this setting, and
LVC command and audio setup script has finished successfully.
And we're following A, B, C, and D, and we're not doing all the things that it looks like we're doing. And then we leave this room, and then the texts and everything come in and say none of that's happening because nothing's changing. Everything is still not working perfectly. And it's our jobs collectively to bridge those gaps. To bridge the gaps operationally, to make sure that we are offering a good service, and to bridge the gap presentation through communication. I think it was in March that we had the last City Gate presentation, if I'm not mistaken. A little later.
Mid-year last year before the budget.
Okay, a couple of things that we talked about was if we were to take all 169 recommendations from this consultant, this professional, and categorize those down. We need to improve our services, how we care for the animals, improve our connection to the public, how do we answer those phones, what's our statistics on being successful on the calls for the strays, and how accessible, what's our public messaging. And then we also talked about improving the site and our staffing, increasing our staffing. So we take this big chunk of 169 items, and we need to present it in a way that we can say tangibly, people are saying that they're not getting these calls through. How many of the calls that come through are we actually successful on? Those are the kinds of very easy answers that help. So when I look at the report that we got December 12th, there's about 4 pages, maybe 3 and 3/4 of what they're titled as completed recommendations. And then at the bottom of the page, there's some asterisk footnotes. I'm not sure if I'm reading this document, if everything in the table that's listed as completed is completed, just the items under asterisks. So for instance, if you look at SOP 61, SOP 85, those 2 items, 61 says do not use length of stay as a reason for EBI, hold animals as long as space allows, and remove all 14-day references from SOPs. This reads that that's a completed recommendation.
This time installed.
So we no longer
I'll just log in.
are doing that old process, right? Okay, thank you. Going down to 85.
Which I'll return to later.
Build strong partnerships with rescues and ensure that placement organizations operate in a humane manner. Review and update rescue partner SOP, MOUs, application process, and transfer agreements to eliminate barriers to timeless.
All of those have been put into place.
So another, I'm sorry. Another caveat to that would be at the bottom you have your kind of like online presence recommendations. Do we have a list on our website of all those shelters, of all of our organizations, of all the resources that the community can seek help with? If those are to be completed, then they're all kind of connected, right?
So yes, we do have resources available either by the officers in the field, on the website, and as well as in the office when you come in. We have been working with City Gate. I have redone the rescue application, we've done the rescue agreement, and we have also implemented a process of taking animals up to 3 hours because most of our rescue agreements, with the exception of Gulf Coast, are out of the state. And so we drive up to 3 hours to meet the transfer volunteers. So the items that we've indicated as completed, we have gone through with the policies in place, with the activities in place to make them more complete.
In the volunteer section where it's talking about increasing those, the access to volunteer, have we increased the number of volunteers?
So with the budget amendment, we were able to create and hold the position for a volunteer coordinator who has been hired. She does have the job of building that volunteer program from the ground up. We are currently working with the communication department to promote and increase the number of volunteers that we have engaging. But yes, we do see an increase in volunteers, but as with all things, it does take time to build and make a substantive program.
Is there a list of recommendations on how to utilize volunteers strategically in the department from Citygate, or is she having to build all that?
So there's a lot of resources available for volunteers, some from Citygate, some from volunteer management associations, other shelters. We have sent her to San Antonio. We have had her speak to profits. I've also put her in touch with a volunteer management peer and consultant peer that you can be a member of, or professional organization. There we go. And then as far as with Citygate, we do meet and discuss our volunteer program at least once a week as one of the topics that we go over, and they're updated on where we're at with our volunteer program, what's happening, and what her current objectives are.
Okay, and part of that we talked about potentially having someone really take ownership of the adoption branch, if you will, of our social media marketing type thing. Like, let's really embrace these pets. Like, come get these pets adopted. These are our resources. Are we doing all that type of thing?
So we are still looking for a community outreach manager, but we are partnering closely with comms and Citygate. We have created a schedule for social media posts. We are also working on making sure that our good news stories are getting out for the animals that do have placement. We have adoption events. We are signing up for the larger community activities that occur, like going to the home and garden in the fall, things like that, to spread word about our adoption program. And so yes, we are definitely seeing an increase in the animals adopted. We had 1,200 animals adopted in 2025, so that is an increase from what we've had before. So the pieces are coming together.
Thank you for that. One of the things that was important to me was we hear a lot is I call and I either don't get a call back or nobody is dispatched, and basically the constituent recognizes distress or recognizes an issue, and there's a breakdown between them reaching our resources. I'm not saying that 100% of the time it ends up like that. Like, I did not get the text that they called them back. But that's the experience for a lot of people, and something we talked about at the last presentation was dedicating someone to picking up the phone and making those calls back. So I'm curious to see if we've been doing that and what our metrics are on dispatching to those calls and how many calls we're missing. And then my last question, I'll let you answer because my time's up. I had a constituent reach out with an idea. In Austin, they actually utilize their university veterans programs to partner with
Does the object in this photo look familiar to you? Possibly take you back to college physics class. Dr. John Shive, host of this next film, invented it at Bell Labs in the 1950s. It's called the Shive Wave Generator.
The Shive types of things, as far as when they're answered, that does come through the IT and communication department. We do respond to calls. We've hired a second dispatcher so that we can receive and dispatch calls more effectively, and we're in the process of hiring 2 more individuals to help work the front desk and take incoming calls. Additionally, they also go through 311, so the pieces are being put into place. The staff is being retained and trained and hired. So as we get those positions filled and the people are here, the training is completed, we'll definitely see more improvement, but we already see improvement now.
Peter, I'm sorry, I'm going to still 10 seconds. I think that's a pivotal component.
Negative 5
so
in
whatever
progress.
we can do to strengthen that. that is our direct contact with the community. So if they're still lacking there, they're trying to fill it in, they're trying to get the budget, but there's a deficiency. We've got to find a creative way to surround that,
and try investigating another
that
service.
actual connection to the community. That's a key.
Continuing, let's see an
Really key thing
example
to
of
focus
a
on.
message generated by
I don't know
a
if there was
particular
more
user.
phasing in the city game
Once you
plan,
see a user account on your system
there's
that's
more
not
phasing.
21,
Be added
44.
recommendations. Suspect some of that is. So it's in the plan, it's just a matter now of funding.
Windows.
And we can't do everything in day one, right? So it's a phasing and then funding.
Not only do we have the normal Linux
We have the positions for community outreach managers.
Guys, I hate to cut this off at 6 o'clock. We've got people waiting since 5:30 for public comment, so we've got to move this along. Plus, I believe we're going to bring this back.
We're going to bring this back in the last meeting in this month, right? January 27th.
That's good.
There'll be a
I mean, you've
presentation.
got a lot coming on the last meeting this month.
And went back inside.
Well,
But I couldn't shake that feeling. Why didn't that real quick and try to tell me why did possible people fantasy? All of a sudden, give to me in a flash. And I knew what I had to do.
I'm trying to vote for some things you guys were talking about. So just stay tight. The public comments only 16 people. We got that straight away. And so, you know.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, I'm trying to make
the
city's
you guys are playing well. You've got limited resources. You've got amazing talk. And I know Kathleen, you and Sonny, you face public scrutiny over your background. And oftentimes I tell Peter, you know, just hire people based on work ethic.
We gotta
You
find
know,
the money
and you know
somewhere
the
else.
character of you two, and you put a team together. And the thing is that you, with what little you have, you've been able to do you've been able to do really crusaders work. And I know the problem is really the council problem, is because we haven't found the resources. And I want to commend you, Peter, because, you know, once again, you had city management that it wasn't on the radar. You know, obviously, Chief Marco handled it the best way he could with the resources he had available. And it took the city manager a vision to say, hey, we're going to look at this and we're going to invest in a consultant to tell us professionally what we're doing wrong and to weed through all the lack of information and the fact and you've committed to doing that, and I think our budget committed to doing that. And I just want to thank you for all the work you've been doing. And I just want to tell my colleagues, you know, it's hard to hire people when they see all the public scrutiny and public criticism that individuals, if they're watching on YouTube, then they may be discouraged from no matter what the benefits may be or the salary may be, they may be discouraged from coming to work here. And because they know the limited resources, everybody has those same problems. So keep up the good work. Appreciate all you're doing. And Sony, appreciate all the you do to this department in addition to our capability.
I'm going to keep this really brief. I know everybody's hung in there. All I can tell you is that you've seen me around the animal shelter. The last one that I adopted was Bailey, and she's doing well. And then Boomer and Shredder, and I could go on and on. This is a public service announcement. If you can and you have the ability to adopt. I mean, our dogs, I can't believe the joy that our dogs bring to us is just, you can't measure it. So, thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to go straight into public comment. I'm going to start with Marty Garza.
Placement scan complete.
Marielena Garza, District 1. I am speaking today not on behalf of the library board or as being the current chair. I'm speaking just because I'm a District 1 resident who loves our libraries, who's been attending the meetings for a while. And you guys trust me to let you guys know when there's problems. I'm trying to stop the bleeding. We're bleeding, and I want to try to save this. And I'm just noticing that we're having, I'm just going to say, difference of opinion between the board and the supporting city staff. Okay, so let's talk talk about the 2 libraries that are still in Garcia, right? So the things that happen at other bodies of government, like CCISD closing the 7 schools, that impacts Garcia, right? Because we're making negotiations with them before the school closings. Now the schools are closed, they're in deep hot water. I'm not saying that them selling us the property that the Garcia library is on is going to save us or save them, but we would save a beloved library that Girl Scouts go to. You know, I had to tell that Girl Scout group that library is going to close, that it is slated to close. You know, and I know that we've got money allocated for the design, and maybe in the bond we'll have for the construction, but when are we going to see that District 5 library? 10 years? 12 years? We have a library already there, right? And then we've got the Hart Library that we have been discussing about a partition. We also are having the Uvalde shooting court proceeding that's occurring, and the solution that the city staff has gone with is that they want to do these partitions. And we're spending, again, money on a consultant after we told them, no, do not do that, $15,000. We don't got that money to just be flying around, and the board has said, you know, can we look at other options? Let's talk about this Hart, you know, this contract doesn't look good. We have a lawyer on the board who's like, what? This legal document, this contract's got a lot of errors. If I was in court with this, I'd be having a field day with this. The staff is not listening to us, and they're putting you guys in a really, really hairy position, especially District 4 and 5. Because it's going to be the timing on this. It's all about timing. They're going, Flower Buckets is going to have to make a move. And that partition is not going to save kids. It's not a bulletproof partition. And when are we going to get that partition? They're going to have to make a move. We're still outside of that library. We are not getting the cooperation that we need from the city staff. I want to work with the city staff. I'm trying to hold down the bleeding. Help me stop the bleeding. These are easy wins. This is low-hanging fruit that we can solve and save our libraries.
Thank you, Ms. Garza.
Mayor, can I, for the record, so we're not closing any libraries? Just so we're just going to make sure the community hears the accurate stuff here. So no libraries are closing. When we do transition the Garcia library, it will be to a brand new library. Okay, so it's going to, once we design and build the brand new library, we'll move the library to the new location. It's been a partnership since it's been built.
Trim complete.
And so space today, as it has
Processed
been for
162.
decades, is
Quarantine
used by the
0.
school, and then space is used by the city. And it's partition without a partition. So to meet state compliance, working with the district there, the school district, if we put up a wall in the space that would separate the two, separate it to this way for it would solve the problem. We've changed our position quite a bit with the Hart Library, where we were going to exit out of there and try to get bought out, and that was staying there. We can't afford to leave, and so the district agreed in our agreement to just use their land. And so, but not even closing. We're just making some adjustments so we meet state compliance in the district.
So we are not closing a library.
We're not closing any libraries.
Thank you for the clarification.
There's various things that can be done here, some of which I would say.
Subsidies expiring or not, it's not working for people. You've got to present a bigger vision, and the cost of what you have. Carlos, let me get your take. I've never been talking to a White House official.
Mayor, I was also slated to speak for a specific agenda item that's coming up after public comment, so I think I may have signed up inadvertently for just is now the appropriate time to talk, or
Actually, item 25 is going to be pulled. We're going to be back on January 27th.
Okay, well, then I'm going to make a public comment.
You can make public comment.
Is that allowed?
Yes.
Move 171 files to processing
attorney
zone.
at Anderson Lerman Law Firm, and I am counsel for Philip Ramirez, who is one of the subject matters of an item that was on the agenda. I'm here today to ask the council why. Why is the council stepping into the shoes of the court system or their own learned legal counsel? Let's remember how this all started, and this is undisputed in my opinion. A known hotelier and competitor of Elevate, Ajit David, made an allegation to city management that a PowerPoint presentation was altered. And in an attempt to make, the alteration was in an attempt to make a date for a FEMA
Location
floodplain.
010-20.
The allegation was that this was a crime. And it had been committed by my client as part of a presentation, and that the city should not vote to approve the Type B funding as it relates to that. Council ultimately voted to approve the project because it was a good project, and because it was deserving of Type B funding.
We find a number of packages available which we need to install.
What we also know
First of these
is that
the
Mr.
base
David
package,
filed
so
a
that's
criminal
the
complaint
base
against Mr.
package.
Ramirez and a civil lawsuit against the city of Corpus Christi. Fast forward to 2026.
Location
Ramirez has been completely cleared of any criminal activity. It's not my opinion. It's the opinion of the FBI, the Texas Rangers, the city of Corpus Christi Police Department, and the district attorney. So the narrative surrounding the issue that has occupied so much of this council's time was thoroughly investigated, and there was determination on record. So the catalyst for all this controversy
the top panel. You can,
has
of
found
course,
to be
automatically
false.
hide it. You can change its position if you prefer it on
The
the right,
people
on the left,
whose
at
job
the
it was to
bottom,
investigate
on top,
this
whatever you
all
want.
came to the same
I think it
conclusion.
just works on top.
That's a
as it.
significant
You can decide on which display you can do it if you have one.
So what's left?
You can decide to have a gap.
What's left is the civil lawsuit brought by the competitor against you, the city of Corpus Christi. That case is ongoing, and there should be significant
Location
repercussions on that
010-20.
case in due time, in the very near future. Further, the city hired, in my opinion, outstanding counsel
here on the menu, Zorro.
to represent the city in that lawsuit.
This is one of the things that set Zorro Nueces apart.
And they paid them for that. And the city of the city of Corpus Christi in that lawsuit has not changed their position, which is that ordinance that is the subject of item 22 was passed lawfully. So it's the opinion of the own city's legal department, it's the opinion of the outside counsel, according to the pleadings, that the ordinance was passed lawfully. And then you have the criminal investigation, that's the basis, has been disproven. So I ask the council to find his prosperity for seconds. Why are they doing this? And why is this something that's continuing to occupy the time? Thank you.
Speaking on behalf of Animal Care Services, and I think the biggest issue is community buy-in. We need to educate the populace here in Corpus Christi on being stewards of animals and advocating for our animals. It's been done in other areas within the state. I know that San Antonio has Animals Alive. I'm sure that some of you guys are aware of that. I think that we can do a lot with our local school districts in the area within CCISD, Flower Bluff, education. Well, not only does it start in homes, it also starts in schools. So maybe we can do some type of public outreach. There are things and resources that we can do within a limited budget that can go outside of the budget. Adoption events, art walks, really big the first Friday of every month. So those are just some things that maybe we can think about. I know it's not just a city council issue. That's what I'd like to share. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Chapman. Talk about what your house is going to come up with those primaries.
Carlos, let me get your take. In talking to a White House official, I was told, look,
Location 010-20.
possibility that there could be an 11th hour deal. Is that person being realistic? Do you think that they could actually give an 11th hour deal?
And I know you're not taking up position, but I think you need to know some things. I want to begin by grounding the conversation of facts, because facts matter. And you need to know what the facts are. There has been a persistent claim that the ordinance will show in township constituents didn't have the proper tools what they're going through that, what it's like, and cannot have that over this criminal court. Now went over testimony, and on page 149 of the incident investigation
You don't have to be helpless to get help at the free store.
Everything you need to get your brand We put banners and signs that help your business stand out. Postcards and flyers that get that shop. We put must-have merch like tote bags, t-shirts, and water bottles. Whether you want a few or...
So the ordinance wasn't safe, which brings me to why I'm here. At some point, we have to ask ourselves, how long are we going to keep re-legislating, and at what cost? Every dollar we spend paying attorneys to revisit an issue where the record is already clear. It's a dollar we're not spending on residents. It's a dollar we're not spending towards flowing water that we need. Let me tell you, water is not an option. Water is life. And here the people in this community are choosing between paying their water bills, buying groceries. Imagine if just a portion of the money we spend on attorneys would have been spent on them. Imagine that. Instead of spending it, instead of taking that money is gone. Paying to attorneys for arguments that no
Dr. Jason's security scan.
I'm asking you, as our legislators, to change your priorities, to remember who you work for, to remember that these are taxpayer dollars earned by people who expect them to be used to improve their lives, not to prolong discussions, not to prolong some things that have already passed. The facts is on the records. The ordinance that you guys are talking about that you pulled are the same. It's time to wake up, and it's time to think about people. We are the people, and we're asking you to put it behind you. It's time to worry about water. It's time to worry about us, the taxpayers. Take a look at the report, please.
Thank you, Ms. Saldana. Robin Cox. Then we'll have Melanie Sanchez, Trion Serbu, Elizabeth Pena, and Melissa Nucete.
Right.
Robin Cox, District 3. I've got that same report. I guess we're looking at two different reports because this should say it all. This is Heather Holbert, who was the assistant city manager. This is her under deposition, so she's a sworn deposition.
First time in the fraudulent representation in it as the manner reason for getting the $2 million, right? That was the headline. Yes. Okay, and the second time, the headline, the thing they repeat 4 different times, is worded differently. First time.
So she's literally saying it's worded differently. If you look at the two, the first time it's talking about the flood zone. The second time it's talking about parks, beautiful things, but the video isn't still there. Culverson says in his sworn testimony it was a bad deal. He got behind it because it was political. You can go look at all of these on YouTube. Philip Ramirez, whose attorney was here, Philip Ramirez has made a pretty good living off this city. Let's see, I guess friendships pay off. Philip Ramirez's jobs, the police academy, police station, Sherrill Park, Watama Library, 2 wastewaters. He said no, it was only about $2 million. Wow, only about $2 million. Tell that to citizens here trying to pay their water bills. And I want to say I'm not getting paid by anybody. And for those of you who are saying that we should not be bringing this up because this money could be going to other things, hey, well, let's not prosecute drug dealers, rapists. That money could go somewhere else. I'm sorry, I'm really getting angry about this right now. Philip Ramirez, he was also the report that desal plant with Kiewit. He's done pretty good. When asked if he's friends with the mayor, he said, no, No, we're not friends. Doug Allison asked her, go to her UT games. No, I just run into her at UT games. How many of you have been to a UT game? Because the chance of running into somebody there, that's, if you believe that, you're the same people standing outside waiting for the Bass Pro Show to open. And they said, oh, do you go drinking at the country club? You know, y'all may not think because we're not members of the country club that we don't hear things, but you know what? Our kids are waiters there. You know, people that we don't think we'd hang out with, and they're listening to things. So when you think about this, bills are getting run up. There's donations. They said, did you donate to Paula, to the mayor's? Only $1,500, $2,000. That's what some people make a month here, $1,500, $2,000. They said the council's that it's already been investigated, it's over. Well, you know what, that investigation, that's like asking the fox to investigate who is watching the hen house. So as long as we have Pancho Villa and Don Quinota running this, we're not going to get anywhere.
Melanie Sanchez.
A number of packages available, of which we need to install.
State dispatch radio code bullshit.
The first of these is the base package. This gives us the basis.
Good evening, Melanie Sanchez, Corpus Christi. Real quick, I shouldn't have laughed during that last item. I'm sorry that I did. You guys have a really good time. I appreciate it. As you know, the heart location is a building owned by the city of Corpus Christi, and that building exists on land owned by Bartlett ISD. This came to be in the contract signed by the city and FBISD in the 90s. It resulted in a beautiful union of 30 years between the public and Flower Bluff students and staff. It's clear to me when I see HART how well it has been loved. But 30 years have passed, and the climate around school safety is very different now. The Uvalde trial that we are currently hosting highlights that point. The question lately has been, will the union between the city and FBISD continue? If so, how? If not, how will they separate? I don't have the answers, and neither do you, which is why we have a library board. That brings me to the two most recent library board meetings. On December 2nd, the board asked city and library staff for an update regarding HART. Their response was to put temporary partitions inside HART while the city and FBISD work things out. The partitions would be meant to keep the public and FB students and staff separate for safety reasons. I don't know about you, but if the unthinkable happens, I don't trust partitions to keep anyone safe. And as a school worker, it doesn't make me feel good at all. All 7 library board members agreed with that sentiment. They killed the idea of partitions right then and there. They said no. Then on January 6th, they asked for another update. City staff let them know that the city was moving forward with a study on partitions. It was going to cost $15,000 for the study alone, which would be taken from the already tight library budget. Again, all 7 library board members were appalled. I was baffled. Who made that decision against the library board and why? Here's one thing I know for sure. Partitions are a Band-Aid, and you can't put a Band-Aid on this problem. You can't leave it on the back burner and hope that nothing bad happens. It's time to seriously look at the HART situation and, out in the open, determine whether we're staying in the building, keeping it for the city, or selling it to FBISD. Thank you.
Thank you. Treon Survey.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm Treon Sabu, 14310 Playa del Rey. I have questions about the water supplies. In the Mary Roads pipeline, there was a provision to be able to put a second pipeline. Why was that? Why isn't that being pursued? Why? It seems the most straightforward way for us to have secure water supplies. The right-of-way is already purchased. The power to the
and
pump
reaction
stations is
continues to
already
pour
there.
in tonight
Yes, you
after
need
this deadly mass shooting
additional
at
pump
Brown
stations and
University.
additional
We had a
water
number
line.
of people who
But
were
if you had
killed,
an
2 people
additional
killed,
5-foot
9 are still in the
water
hospital,
line,
and
I
all
think
of them
the
Brown
two
University
would largely
students.
solve
Sports
our
Team 10's
water issues.
Kevin Moore joins us now
And
with
if
some
one
information
broke
from the
down,
sports world
the
about
other one
this.
would still
Patrice, while
pump.
the Providence and State come together
then
on
that
such a
leads me
tragic
to my
night,
next
sports teams
question.
from around the region are beginning to send their thoughts and support to those affected by this.
It calls for all that new equipment and pumping and gather the water and connect it to the Mary Roads pipeline. Well, if the Mary Roads pipeline is running full and delivering our water,
I just wanted to point out that
and
in
you
some distros,
add
the installation
water
of
to it,
virtual
we're
box
still
is
not
not
getting
quite as
any more
straightforward
water
as
to the treatment
Scan
plant.
complete.
So that makes no sense.
System is secure.
I'd like someone else to explain that to me, to a bunch of us. And then the last thing, if and when we ever do desalination, I would like all of you to commit that the brine would be pumped out to the deep ocean.
Location 10-20.
Not to the continental shelf, over the continental shelf, to the deep ocean.
Thank you, Mr.
Council consideration, we'll have a professional services contract amendment for Pete Dawson.
See if
that
Seth's
will
there.
be
If not, we have
presented
his
for
contact.
consideration.
Thank you.
That
Thank you. Yeah,
contract
thank you, Mr. Shaboo.
amendment will be
They'll,
for the full and
catch you out
complete
here
design
so they
of
can
the
answer your
Evangeline
questions.
Wellfield.
Elizabeth
We'll
Pena?
also have, as part of that, there'll be a contract for pre-construction services. That will be presented as well, the pre-construction services.
Honorable council members, my name is Elizabeth
Negative flight in progress.
Hello. Of Corpus Christi, and I live at 6320 Whitaker Drive. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I want to start by sharing something personal. I have rescued 8 dogs in the street alone, and have been spaying and neutering cats in my neighborhood for over 12 years. I do this because I care deeply about our community and the animals that live in it. But I can't do it alone, and neither can the many compassionate residents who are trying to help. First, enforcement matters. Animal cruelty and abandonment are not just animal issues. They are community issues. Research shows that individuals who abuse animals are 5 times more likely to commit violent crimes against people. Stronger penalties for abuse and abandonment protect both animals and our neighborhoods. Second, our city is struggling with stray problems. In January of last year alone, 271 stray dogs and cats were taken in by animal care services, yet 50 were euthanized simply because of space and medical limitations. Our live release rate dropped to 78%, the lowest in years. This is heartbreaking and unsustainable. We need more resources and staff to enforce laws and manage intake no-kill shelters work. Cities like Austin maintain a 95% live release rate, proving that with community support and funding, euthanasia for space can be eliminated. Nationally, shelters with strong volunteer and foster programs are 40% more likely to achieve no-kill status, saving thousands of lives. Fourth, compassion should never be punished. Many residents feed stray dogs and cats out of kindness. These caregivers should not face fines. Feeding programs improve animal health, reduce aggression, and make sterilization easier. Instead of penalizing compassion, let's partner with these individuals for spay, neuter, and vaccination efforts. Finally, expanding animal control is an investment in safety and compassion. Adding staff and resources reduces stray populations, prevents bites, and lowers shelter overcrowding. Killing animals is expensive and demoralizing. Proactive programs like fostering and rescue partnership save money and lives. I urge you to prioritize these changes in the next budget cycle and make animal welfare top priority in our city.
Melissa Nueces.
Melissa Nueces, 6530 Peacock Drive.
Location, what's your 10-20?
78414, District 5. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for bringing this to the table. It's the animal issue that I'm interested in. I am a foster. I have neighbors helping street pups of Corpus Christi. I don't follow the law. I feed animals that are starving, and I help cats that are starving. I TNR cats, and I also take dogs to get spayed and neutered and try to get them back to their owners, because even though there's vouchers, there's people that don't want to drive their animals or say they can't drive them there. And I'm somebody that the culture has changed, because when I was growing up, my parents said dogs were medicine. I want to thank Councilman Roy for letting you guys know that the animals have a soul. We're not talking about swimming pools, we're not talking about libraries, but we're talking about souls. We're talking about trying to educate the community to let them know that the animals have a soul. I talk to people every day trying to make them to understand that it's not just a dog, it's a life. How can you compare a swimming pool that's going to be closed
once again, we're arriving in the
9 months out of the year, going to be open 3 months out of the year, to the lives of these dogs? You just can't. I agree that we need more space, and that it would be nice to have more space, but you cannot possibly build this problem. It's way too much more than just space. We need to educate our community. We need to go to schools and talk to kids. We need to do more. Animal control is expected to do a whole lot. I was in an advisory committee meeting where they showed that in a matter of a couple of months, I don't know exactly how many calls came in, but it was more than 3,000 calls. They don't have the capacity to answer those calls. That's why you're getting those texts. That's why we're upset. That's why we're crying. I've never had anybody call me back and say, we followed up on your call, Melissa. They don't have the time. They say you need to put in a letter that says you want to know what happened. We'll let you know in about 15 days. I never, you have to put in something called I don't even remember what it's called, but it's something where you put in a letter and you ask them what happened with that case. Open records request. It takes 3 weeks. And you might get something back. They're not going to call you back and say, we went to go check on that dog that was in the sun. They don't have the capacity. There's 470 police officers in this city. We don't have 400
overnight
officers
stays, but we make it work. That's why we have the fire marshal's
no way.
office
Who are they going to send? Maybe in a couple of weeks they'll go check on that dog that's in trouble. That 2 weeks is too long by then instead. Or the people simply say, well, we don't have a dog. This is like having a football game. The guy throws the flag and there's no enforcement, no penalty. Nobody loses any yards. That's what this is. This is a game that you're not going to win until you enforce the offense and educate the people.
Thank you, Ms.
There's various things that can be done here, some of which I'll return to later. The video, the critical one is that if you have an NVIDIA...
Hello, my name is Saskia Moraine, and I just want to take a few seconds to
launch the driver
request and make a suggestion. One way to perhaps...
Are you a city resident, ma'am? I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Yes, I live in Corpus Christi, zip code 78414. I just wanted to suggest that we try to incorporate perhaps in our water bill, both electronically and hard copy, a dollar donation that will go towards animal welfare. That's something that I really, really wanted to share with you. and also the fact that I do appreciate everything that animal control is doing. In fact, my pup Anji, his name is Anji, was adopted about 5-6 years ago from animal control, and we love him. And currently I have 2 abandoned stray pups in my house or in my backyard. They don't live in babies, but it's all set up for them where it's nice and comfortable, nice and warm, fed, and these are animals that are strays, were strays, and now are with me. I cannot find a rescue for them or anything, so I decided just to keep them. But I just wanted to make that suggestion regarding the donation on the water bill, either electronically or hard dollar.
To do is show
just add it.
Show your constituents that you care about
for
what
your
they're
time.
going
Thank you,
through,
Ms. Murray.
what it's
Matthew
like
Rankin?
to not have a fridge that's full,
Now, minimize
to
our
not
browser and
have
look in the
a
downloads
house
folder.
that is well
You can see that
built
in
enough to
theory,
keep
you
you
can now get on
warm.
with the installation.
You don't have to be houses to get help at the free store. I had someone call me, a coworker who has a coworker who works for the ferries out in Port A.
I smelled it and nearly gagged. That same raw chicken smell. I always cleaned it well, hot water, soap, and bleach. But I found out wood cutting boards absorb juices like a sponge, trapping bacteria like E. coli and salmonella.
I told you a couple years ago it'd be coming. Told you a couple months ago it already had happened.
I felt sick. I threw it out on the spot.
Corpus had the honor of getting the very first enforcement order from Ken Paxton telling you to comply with the law. City Council, you guys can carry it out too. So if you got a carry license, I'll carry the meetings. Let me know if anybody tells you you can't. The only people who can't carry in this room now are the city employees. So I don't know, maybe we can take that up with as far as the police department, I found out why my complaint against the unlawful banning of weapons from the police department. Thank you very much. You'll be getting another enforcement order pretty soon. So you're going to need to rekey the elevator so that the car can get off on the second floor, change a couple doorways, and stairwell access doorways to comply with the law. Don't know how much that's going to cost, but you'll be getting a letter from the AG to come into compliance probably in the next week or 2. That's right now. Going back to decorum rules, thanks for following the law, and everybody gets 3 minutes, mostly. We still got a problem with the rest of the decorum rules, though, because you're still enforcing naughty language rules. So we're going to have to work on that. Like I said, state law says that anybody can say anything for the
of silicon inside.
Yes, and actually truly being able to design and optimize a solution for what that given product needs. And really, I think that's the objective. When we have control, we are able to do things beyond what we can do by buying merchant.
All this comes as well as pressure on Apple about their AI strategy.
This part really comes down to how far they can go on their own in AI, right?
Sir, you're breaking decorum. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Your time is up, sir. Thank you, sir.
I'm 1041 in Oasis County.
Thank you, sir.
Area hospital.
Rachel Caballero.
Rachel Caballero, D1. They say you can tell how well a community is by how they treat the less fortunate. So we really need to focus on this animal thing and make it a priority. I'm extremely supportive of that. As much as I appreciate other people coming up here, we all have a right to have our opinions.
And, you know, everybody gets information from different places. The civil lawsuit against the city in the Ajit David case is still active, so that's a lie. And the reason why that is a lie is because there are people sitting behind that glass that are recording depositions. So we know that the case is still active and in litigation because people perjured or conflicted city staff, the legal department. We're forgetting all of the schematics involved in this case, including the fact that the Type B board, which obviously is not doing great things, they didn't have a second reading on the ordinance because it was a different ordinance. So we can't go off of everybody's comments. We have to do our own research, watch the meetings from the Plan B, those meetings, and the people that were involved. But the civil lawsuit is still active. Otherwise, some of you wouldn't be hiding from getting your second deposition. With that being said, I really hope that we can turn over a new leaf here, guys. It's a new year, and we start doing things legally. We start being responsive to this community, and we become more transparent, because that's necessary at this point. Thank you.
Jason Hale.
Hi, council members. Jason Hale, Corpus Christi. I'm just going to make this real quick. I wanted to thank the city manager, city staff, and city council for putting together the Farfield Advisory Committee. I know it costs money. You'll have a lot going on, but I think it's important because we need affordable water supplies, but before that, we also need to make sure that they're feasible and environmentally safe. And I think the committee will be instrumental in helping that. That's it. Thanks.
The next is I say, which will improve the performance of our virtual machine, not least by permitting it to run on screen in a way that's
Can you state your name and city, please, Ms. Lytle?
From the historical neighborhood and community of Hillcrest.
Motion in a second. All in favor, say
The last
aye.
time I made a statement that we, Hillcrest, the neighborhood, had not been advised of what to expect of the desal in our neighborhood. And back in 2021, the city invited HRA, the board, to come to the city, and that's when we were advised that of Inner Harbor. It was after the pandemic of the Inner Harbor. We left. Then we had a meeting at Brooks A&M. Adam Carrington was still alive then, and we have the city to listen to us. The District 1, Billy Lerner was in District 1. Now, after that, I left here. I said, maybe I'm wrong. But I went to the secretaries of HRA, and I said, go through the minutes. Did anyone from the city come to Hillcrest and advise us what to expect, what's coming, any information? We never got any information. Matter of fact, I had a picture that I got offline that I had blown up, that it showed a picture of what it looked like. It showed Broadway and an office building and things, but it did not show the true meaning of a desal and plant in Hillcrest. So I just want you to know, I did do my research, and we do not have nothing on the minutes that anyone has come to Hillcrest, a town hall meeting, anything, to give us full detail. Also, I have always believed in whatever project you do, make sure
with this.
that you can have
So
success
now
in it.
we'll create
So by
a
having
plugin.
success in it, you go the steps.
You probably know
We have a
Vistaprint for business
far-field
cards,
study
but did you know we
taking
print
place.
everything
We
you
have a
need to get
committee.
your brand in front of your fans?
And
We
my
print banners
concern
and
is
signs that help
is
your
that by
business stand
having a
out.
far-field,
We
you're
print
gonna
postcards
know
and flyers that
that
get people talking. And we print
in a
postcard
Harvard
merch
Hills
like
press
t-shirts and flyers. Whether you want a few or a few thousand, we print everything.
and you know it's not
From noticing your
down,
brand,
that's going to be
falling in
a
love.
Causing another
Right
server to go
Everyone
down
needs
because it relies on storage from
because
that
when you
server.
leave
Maybe you have a
council,
DNS server that's
you
actually
want
not
your name
responding
say,
because it's
they did the right
DNS
thing.
records
So I'm hoping that you
now
wait
offline. So now
to
a
do
NAV server is causing a DNS
February
server to go down, all
24th
kinds of other
meeting.
things. Obviously, we're all
Wait until the
we're confident we can figure this stuff
Far-field
out,
study
but I think one of the values here is that you can analyze our systems often faster than we can. It doesn't
Work by the Bureau doesn't make headlines, but it is happening every single day.
Was suspicious JSTS code detected.
Thank you, sir. Okay, that concludes our public comment. About transforming
Back to the agenda, we're at item number 24. Did we do this one, Councilman Cantu? We kind of talked about both of them, but I don't know.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Is it okay if I make public comment? It's my first time and I didn't realize I was supposed to sign up. Will that be okay?
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
okay, thank you so much.
Go ahead, just state your name and city.
Okay, my name is Karina Libretto. I'm in District 5. Adopting a zero-tolerance policy for euthanasia of healthy and treatable animals at CCACS due to space is a recipe for disaster. And while the effort may seem humane at first glance, it may be misguided. I've seen firsthand the consequences of no-kill policies while working in a shelter, and adopting a policy can cause greater harm to the community animals, the staff that care for them, and it may result in overall higher operational costs. Overcrowding of an animal shelter typically leads to the spread of diseases, and it's because of the lack of space the staff has to adequately prop and sanitize kennels. Some of these diseases, like intestinal parasites, while they may be easy to treat, can be passed back and forth among animals, leading to constant retreatment, driving up care costs. Several of these diseases seen in shelter animals are also zoonotic, meaning that they can be passed to the human staff that care for them. More deadly diseases like distemper and parvovirus can spread quickly in overcrowded shelters, and sometimes they don't even show symptoms and may expose other animals to these diseases. They often don't recover from these diseases despite best treatment efforts, which can be long and costly, adding strain to limited and available resources. In the event that they do survive, they're left with neurological issues that require lifelong management with medication, again leading to higher treatment costs. I've experienced firsthand the emotional stress that comes with caring for these animals experiencing life-threatening illnesses. This stress does not only come from witnessing the suffering of the animal, but comes from the increased workload which falls on the shoulders of an already overworked and understaffed workforce. Dogs in overcrowded areas can develop anxiety and aggression. Those with anxiety are put on medication to manage this anxiety. This treatment is costly and also makes them less likely to be adopted. Providing humane care to the animals already in custody in overcrowded shelters can deplete their overall quality of life. I've touched a bit on the harm the policy can have on staff, but I do want to note there is a national shortage of people working in vet medicine because it is notorious for burnout resulting from overcrowding and underfunding, long hours, impossible workload, and poor treatment from the community members they attempt to serve. While euthanasia is a sad reality, it is not the problem. It is a symptom resulting from the systemic failures in community animal welfare. It is a necessary to manage the ever-growing population problem in our city. We have several orgs doing amazing work, but they can't do this alone. So instead of banning euthanasia, it's time to focus on efforts that prevent the need for it in the first place by making sure that CCACS has a budget that can support operations and adequate staffing as well as more space. Educating our community on how their choices can impact the animal population, how quickly animals can breed, and also providing more grants for citywide TNR programs. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go, as I was saying, 24. Councilman Cantu, did we address 24? Item 24 was your second animal. 24? Okay, so 24 is to discuss and consider possible action to adopt a zero tolerance policy stating that the euthanization of healthy or treatable animals at Corpus Christi Animal Care Services for space capacity or operation reasons is strictly forbidden, will not be authorized, and will not be justified under any circumstance with mandatory reporting and oversight to ensure compliance as requested by council members Eric Cantu, Carolyn Vaughn, and Kaylin Paxson.
Summer heat went in there. Okay, so my understanding is we killed 20
Suspicious JSTS code detected.
last year for space, correct?
We humanely euthanized 20 dogs, yes, in fiscal year 2025 for space.
So that's about
2%.
2 animals per month.
No. So we only euthanized for space for 4 months of the year last year. And those months were actively July and August were the 2 highest. July there were 5, August there were 11. Now, if you do know the animal welfare field,
Location,
that
what's
is
your
the time
10-20?
where people are outside. Their children are out of school. You see more aggressive animals. So in order to respond to those calls, we have to try to plead them out to our rescue partners who are amazing, our fosters, our partners within the city, to try to get them to take animals from our facility so we can pick up the animals that are loose where the public are.
Subsidies expiring
to do that, in those 2 months, we did not have resources to move animals to, and so unfortunately, those were the highest months.
Let me get your take. In talking to a White House official, I was told, look, don't rule out the possibility that there could be an 11th hour deal. Is that person being realistic? Do you think that there could actually be an 11th hour deal
I want
here?
to apologize to you guys.
You can understand why
I
what
raised my
happened.
voice, whatever the case is. It wasn't directed to you, it was directly to the
Whether you
situation
want a few
itself.
or a few thousand,
And
we
I
put
talk
on
loud.
everything so
Trying
that
to
customers can
talk
go from
lower.
noticing your brand to calling them
I
a
don't talk
right now.
loud. However, there's, I'm not your average elected official. I'm outspoken. I don't care what people think. I'm not going to be political correct. I'm not going to say city staff is doing a great job every single time. I think you guys are doing as best as you can with the tools that we have given you and the monies. But I'm going to speak up when I see something wrong. And I feel that a lot of
We are coming on the air
council
right now with
members, or the
breaking
past
news
council
out of
members,
Venezuela, where several
never really spoke up
explosions have rocked the
because
capital city.
they didn't
there
want to
of
make
Caracas.
anybody
That is according to
uncomfortable
multiple
or
eyewitnesses
make
that
anybody
NBC News
upset
has spoken
or whatever
to
the
over the
case
last
is.
several
I don't
hours.
care.
Those eyewitnesses
No, I'm not going to cater to nobody.
Accounts of those explosions.
I don't owe anybody any
The
favors.
Venezuelan government, for
And
its
if
part,
people
has
want to
accused
support
the
my
United
campaign
States in a new
financially,
statement
great. If
from
not, I
overnight
have my own
of
money.
carrying
I don't
out the
care.
military
I'm going to
attacks,
speak up
condemning
when
the
I see
strikes
something
as what it
wrong.
calls
And I feel
extremely
that
serious
things are going
military
wrong in the
aggression.
animal care center. And I'm going to speak up till I'm blue in the face. And I don't feel that the center is being honest about how many animals are killed for space. I think what I was being told from workers from there is I'll kill animals for small little medical reasons that are treatable.
Again, sir, it's approved by a veterinarian.
I'm just telling you what I'm from my experience. And so, I just, if I don't get the support today, then the public knows where people stand with animals never killed. If it's only 20 a year, I think having a city policy to kill no animals for space, you have to figure out what to do with 20 animals. And just feel that when you start somewhere, I need to apply the pressure on city staff to figure this out. So, you know, I just, something has to be done once and for all. It just, yeah, we spend money on the shelter, $4 million or whatever the case is, but we didn't touch kennels, added more kennels, added more employees, we just fixed the parking lot, fixing AC units, which I think was overpriced. I mean, we could have done so much better with our monies. But I just feel that I'm going to speak up every time I see something wrong. And, you know, if I wasn't the one who's spoken up about the animals being dumped at the landfill, y'all will still be doing it. And that chambers, the
Location
thing
of
that
SOR-10-20.
cremates the animals will still be broken. It's only because I made a big deal about it. And I just feel that we still have to keep on talking about this because we got to fix the issue. You know, that we could do simply little things. We advertise the gas department on our utility bills every month or every other month. Why can't we advertise the animals up for adoption? Why can't we say, hey, they have 45 days to live, adopt the dog, show their faces on the utility bills? We do it for the gas department, we do it for rate increases, we do all this other crap, but we can't do simply as that, enter a flyer in there stating, hey, this is the animals are for adoption. Make the best pictures as possible. Hire somebody to make the saddest picture of the dog so people can go and adopt. Or even add something to the utility bill to donate to the shelter. I'm sure a lot of people would do it. I would do it. You know, I'm praying and I'm hoping that I found somebody who will build us some more shelters, some more kennels. Have a meeting in a couple of weeks, and I'm praying that we can make a deal and build some, donate money to build some more kennels. But it shouldn't be their responsibility. It should be our responsibility. It's a public safety issue.
Down here, I think a copy of Windows 7 running.
Does anybody else want to talk?
Well, I'm going to jump in, and I was, you're saying, I was calling it low-hanging fruit. And I don't know where I haven't gone back. You know, I looked at that city gate report many months, whenever it came out. So I don't know what's listed there, but the councilman's basically talking about low-hanging fruit. So can we put something together? Or maybe we're already doing it. Somebody mentioned earlier, and I know you're being in schools. We are in schools. We are in schools. So I don't know. Maybe we need to know exactly what we're doing. Is there low-hanging fruit like the utility bill thing? That's great. Little things like that maybe aren't on that city gate. Because I know we have to spend money for that plan, and it will be fruitful. But I know it takes time, it takes money, and you know that comes in budget season when we're. And that's the other thing. I would really. I'm going to move this. It's right in front of Peter. When
this white male is still there causing problems with people there.
When y'all prepare your budget, what do y'all call them? Everybody at each department.
Their recommendations.
Budget packets or something.
Yeah, just say recommendations.
Right. I'm not saying it's not happening, but I am. I think that you're much greater than what you're turning in.
Hello.
And I think you're trying to possibly. Well, I mean, I don't know what that.
When we developed our budget this summer, we knew we were going to add resources to it, so I gave them direction. I don't want any reductions, and tell us exactly what you need. So they didn't hold back.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, they didn't. That's right. I knew you were going there. So they did not hold back. They didn't say, "Oh, I'm afraid to ask this." We know exactly what we need. It's in the millions of dollars.
So I'd like to see that again. Send it to the whole council.
12 million products
what those needs are.
We can get you that.
Because we have to remember that. just like we do when we were in Flower Bluff last night. You know, we cut that demolition, we cut that budget, but if you were there last night, I'm sitting there looking down like, maybe I shouldn't have. So it's difficult to let's see what priorities are. I'd like to see what
this is important. I'm not trying to diminish it. This is just one thing in the budget. We need $50 million to be able to have the same level of stream.
Thank you very much, sir.
3 months from now, $50 million. That's just one. That's basic stream. So again, when you take something in isolation all day, let's do it. But we got to, the council has to collectively understand all needs.
Coming down 286.
Give us direction, because at this point, we've cut the budget 2 years in a row. And so now, I believe several departments that benefit. So at this point, it's hitting critical. It's hitting what the residents want most: parks, libraries, code compliance. Those are the only areas that we can start to begin to go to, in my estimation. But it's really going to come down to that: is what do we prioritize? It's a tough thing. The business of being a council member and running a city, because when you get to these situations where we want to do what Councilman Cantu's doing, but you have to not do something else. So anyway, that's just a comment, right?
Yeah, thank you, Peter. Councilman Cantu.
So, how many rescues do you guys work with?
We have over 100
right away, it
rescues
had to
that,
be the cutting board. When
I'm
I
sorry?
got home, I
We have
checked
over
it.
100 rescues
It
that we
looked
work
clean,
with.
deep in the
Do you have a list
groove.
of
There were
rescues?
bits of old food. I smelled it.
Can you send me an email with the rescues names and the phone numbers?
I always clean
And then,
it well, hot water, soap,
so
bleach.
my
But I found out
understanding, once
right
again,
away it had to be the cutting board.
y'all
When I got home, I checked
put down
it.
20
It looked
dogs,
clean, but
cats,
salmonella,
animals
there
a
were
year.
bits of old food.
So
I smelled it. And you
it's hard to believe that this is happening. We put down
I always clean it well, hot water, soap,
what I want to do is do a motion. When I get a second break, if I don't, you know, who's for the animals. If we would kill 20 animals in 1 year, it would be a big inconvenience for you guys to try to make their families their dreams, you know, and have a policy in place that we won't be able to kill for space. So I want to do a motion that with the policy that we will not kill for space, and we gotta find the money somewhere else. So let's do it, because we really something we can figure out how to
down here. Yeah, you can make that just so what the advice is that we would tell the council members is that what that would mean is that on those months where there's high request for picking up strays, we won't be able to pick them up. And so when that happened, that just happened recently around the Christmas break, where a resident called in and had like 4 stray dogs. And the animal care department said, we're not going to be able to get them. Just hold tight with them.
There's strays all over Corpus Christi.
I know. I just got to finish the story. So I got involved. Like, why didn't we pick them up? The customer called and said, because they had no space. There's no space. So there's no point going to pick up 4 dogs if there's no place to put them. So we can do that all day long. We can keep them in the kennels, and then when we get calls for service, we just won't be able to pick them up because there's no place to put them. It's really that basic. So we have no problem doing that. We just need the council and the community to communicate that
but we only put down 20 dogs a year.
Yeah, no, it would be just isolated issues, like the Christmas time, just 4, that's not a lot. I mean, you have one customer, one resident saying, hey, come pick up these 4 dogs. But all it takes is one case, like Hernandez said, up in San Antonio, where a veteran was mauled to death because the stray dog was picked up. So it's a risk. It would be a risk. We can do it, and it's not a lot. It wouldn't be a lot of time. Now, they said there's 400, that we euthanize. I would say, hey, absolutely not. But 40 is manageable. The payoff, or the trade-off, is that there's going to be a couple of times in the year when we're not going to pick up dogs or cats because there's no space. We can't just go pick them up and keep them in the back of the truck.
I beg to differ a couple of times. Ask these ladies.
They just said 4 months. Ma'am, excuse me, there's no citizen comment. There was only 4 months in the year, right?
That they were
Yeah. So 4 times, 4 or 5 times.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is it happens a whole lot where we're rescuing a dog and trying to get him or her into the shelter, or not the shelter, I'm sorry, our facility, and can't. And people, so I'm saying it's going to happen way more than 4 times a year.
That's a good point. I mean, just
how many times have we said, we got to find someone, and they're scrambling, I'm just giving it all. Because I want to hear y'all's perspective. Y'all are the ones out there. But anyhow, okay, can we do that? And I know you want to speak to, and we do have public comment on this item. So
we're trying to get this.
Councilman Hernandez has we're trying to get what?
We're trying to address this motion, and also what Veronica's going to do. We're trying to professionally answer the question.
Well, we're going to hear from them. They are.
I know, but that should be during citizen comment.
Well, it is, Peter. That would be public comment. We're going to open for public comment.
Okay, I didn't know we switched over to public comment. I thought we were trying to.
We did not switch over to public comment. We're going to eventually.
Okay.
So Councilman Cantu was.
Motion, and he asked my professional opinion on can we do that. And I said we can, but this is a trade-off.
That help your business stand out. We print postcards and flyers that get people talking. And we print must-have merch. Bags, T-shirts, and water bottles.
Okay. I made mention of kind of a balance between animal care and animal control. Action is future farmers in America. Now, I know a few of them were captured and ultimately euthanized because they were dangerous animals, but not all of them were captured. So we have kind of a balance here. And, I understand, I sympathize. I own a dog, right? His name is Milo. I've had a dog ever since I can remember. But I understand that there's challenges here and that there are safety components associated with this. And, I don't want to be in a situation where we don't address those because of our concerns. Now, I don't know. I don't know what your relationship is with your partner organizations where you can ask them to come get an animal or what the transaction is. Is there a cost associated with that, or do you just hand them over? I mean, what's the... I'm trying to find a happy medium here to where we're doing the best we can to save the animals, but also meet the public safety needs. Can you kind of address that?
So we do pleas for our rescues almost every day, if not every day. The pleas are either for specific animals or they are for groups of animals. And the rescues do take in as many as they can. But like everyone, they have capacity issues as well. They get so Gulf Coast is a partner for us. They do take care of animals. They are our biggest program. And we also send animals out of state. But again, all those things take time. Space our state partners take time to arrange for transport. So every day, we pull that animal to get into a place and so there is a balance between finding placement and bringing the animal as much time as possible to get out of the facility and addressing public safety.
Okay, when you say out of state, I'm assuming that you're sending animals on the north. But is this something that we transport or they come and get the animal?
So typically we will transport up to 3 hours to a transporter and then they pay to have these animals transported out of state. And there's people who use professionals to drive dogs.
SM 631 close to 2269. 631 close to 2269. Trinity by the zoo area.
Hubs, that's where the transport
Have you just saw a Chevy Silverado inside of a ditch? I've only had one caller about it. I don't know if it's a crash or just a motor.
Last year, we did a total of 900 rescue transfers.
Literally put them in our prison, which we don't want to do.
No, I understand that you're trying your best to get reasonable. The only thing I'm concerned about is having that balance. I can't tell you that, it was my daughter's friend whose animal was killed.
Unreasonable, or is
So I want to make sure we're doing the right thing. We're addressing the dangerous dogs and the concerns for the public safety, but also, we're doing the best we can. I appreciate the fact that we're sending 900 dogs to other places that don't have them. But Peter, I don't know.
It's a challenge, Councilman. We know that. So we're, the motion that the councilman made is doable. We just need to know what the trade-off is.
I just want to make sure that we.
The address I did use is 30 South Alameda. And it's going to be closer to Hester's. Is what they're describing. PD called us one in. So it is closer to Hester's in the Lamar Park Shopping Center.
And you said it was around the Lamar Shopping Center?
Shopping Center. Hester's is located to Hester's in that shopping center.
10-4, Lamar Park. I'll go ahead and survey the area and on 1041.
Test successful from terminal. Scan complete.
We address the dangerous dogs.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
That, because
I don't know if they pick
there are dangerous dogs out there.
They don't know what a dangerous dog is until they collect them, right? I mean, go ahead, Sony. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, and so one of the things in considering what council considering the limited admission, right? Essentially, no kill is limited admission, so that when we are at capacity, then we can no longer take an animal. So that means aggressive dogs as well. So there's that.
Scan complete.
There's that component that we have to analyze. Also with enforcement. So if we're at capacity, then you have enforcement levels will go down potentially, and then as well, then there may be increase in reported dog bites. So in places where they may have a no-kill shelter, those are sometimes those can be the potential impacts. So that's something that we would have to get with to do comprehensive analysis, just in terms of impacts to the community. If then we are at capacity and can no longer emit animals in, what are potential impacts in the community?
Okay, because even Councilwoman Campos gave an example of Sean getting bit, right, and that being reported, and nobody comes out. So
And I can say, doing research on this before we came today, there was only one municipality that we compare to that is a no-kill shelter. One has tried to go no-kill. They lasted about a year and then realized they could not maintain it and enforce everything needed to and serve the community like they needed to. So we could go this way, but we would need to do an analysis to see how that would affect our residents.
Yeah, this motion is not for no kill. It's just no euthanization for space. So.
And that's what that is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Councilwoman Vaughn.
I understand how compassionate he is about this, because I don't want to kill the animals either. But I'm afraid we may cause more harm than good if we don't take a halt and just look at it and make sure we know what the consequences of doing it. Because this young lady made some good points that I haven't thought about the sickness, and Eric, you may not have thought about it either. But we pile them in there because you're not going to have the space. You're going to put more than two in a kennel or whatever, and you could have mean dogs together. Who knows? You can't maintain that, and the dogs could get hurt right there because of bigger dogs. So I'm concerned about it. The number 900 just makes me sick that y'all had to send 900 out. That says a whole lot about this community. That is a shame. That's why I'm saying we've got to have some kind of legislation to address what's going on here. Florida did something really good, like I said before. We've got to do something. But Eric, you can do what you want to, but I wish you would think, and let's let them go back and at least come back and give us the consequences of what can happen, because I didn't think about any of these things that young lady said. I don't want them to get in there and get sick and die, get parvo, whatever. So that would just be my suggestion, just to maybe bring it back at the meeting that we're talking about and then have a discussion and see what we can do, what's feasible. Because we don't have enough kennels. We know that.
It's only 20. If their claim is only 20 animals a year, it's not very many animals.
And I get that, but what they're saying, if they're saying that if we can't pick the dogs up, I don't want that, because if somebody gets hurt on the street because we did this kind of like we got rid of that demolition, we come back to bite us in the butt. So I just think we need to be careful. All I'm saying is, can we wait, bring it back to the next one, let's find out what the consequences are and try and make a more informed decision when y'all give us a little bit more information. Because I don't want him to be killed either.
Yeah, Councilman Scott.
Yeah, I feel compelled to
I feel compelled to tell you I've rescued dogs. I'm a grandfather. My granddog is my daughter's rescue dog that she got from you all, as a matter of fact. I know how it works, by the way. You go to events and you give people a couple of glasses of wine. Next thing you know, I'm a grandparent for a dog. Kingsley, our beloved, rest his peace, we adopted him, and we've collected dogs and saved dogs. I'm also a recipient of a dog bite. Yeah. So I'm on both sides of that. So I'm a little traumatized when we're talking about dog biting because I'm on a bicycle ride. Now, my friends, by the way, claim it's because I don't ride fast enough. I would submit to you, it was really windy, and I was riding in the wind, and it was mile 45. That's not because I'm a slow rider. My thought, I think this is an emotional response. I think we got the city gate. I'd sure like to know, kind of have a public conversation about where we're at, where we're going, what are the costs involved. I agree, we need to know the consequences. And I was fascinated by the number of responses I got in the last week going, Mark, you do not want to go there. It's not as simple as no kill, that there's significant consequences. And then in all fairness, Flower Bluff last night, we need money for that. I wish we had twice as many police officers. I think we'd have less crime, and that's a human interaction. I mean, there are all kinds of things I've
Nineteen. 19. I'm in Rockville Jail. 41 today. 12, 10. 12, 10. 12, 5, 10. Under 10, 4. 35, 10, 4. 616, 42. 616, 10, 4. 24. You're on one? 10, 4. Can't get no access. They got some dogs. Try going around through the alleys and all that. It's a big fucking fence. I'll try back again. And not right now. All right. Make contact with Crystal Lopez. Careful. I'm going to call the fast and run this in real quick. Give me a minute. 519 1042. 519
809 heath 41.
809 1042. The address is going to be 1014 Driftwood Place, 1014 Driftwood Place, work order is 27205. 27205.
For 917.
Scan complete. System is secure.
Eight oh four.
804.
1041.
Good.
Were you able to locate?
Oh, no, accident. Yeah, he's good. Not a crash. Not a crash.
I'm in 1945, all clear.
Huge 23. Dispatch 7-1. Go ahead. 1020 is like 40 minutes down. She's around 29 coming from Flower Bluff. She hasn't caught up to anybody yet, but just an FYI. She's 40 minutes down. Okay, Ross coming from Flower Bluff. It was 1020? Yes, sir, 1020. 127271. Vehicle location. Locator.
262, cancel that order out for Sunset Cove. Customer says it's too late. Stand by for another work order.
Ten four, stand by.
Just 7-1 to dispatch.
7-1.
Okay, I'm sorry. That unit 1020 was a replacement unit, wasn't it? And can you tell me what run it's assigned to?
150, show me out. 302 industrial.
Okay, run 74. Thank you.
Six 23.
Okay.
10 7 10 42.
1042. Rosalie Boulevard. Turn on after repair. Work order 27392. 27392.
417.
Good.
10, 13 to dispatch, you copy? Enter in dispatch. Somebody's trying to give me directions now back to the yard. I lost my orientation. 1004 is on 049.
Called SLC 6A1.
What does it feel like when you're having a seizure?
Terrible.
We truly felt like he was slipping out of our hands.
His parents, Maggie and Grayson, learned from an online support group that a drug called pheasant could help. Prescribed by their doctor, the drug's list price is nearly $800,000 a year. Twice, their insurance denied coverage, saying clinical studies have not proven that this drug... His parents, Maggie and Grayson, learned from an online support group that a drug called pheasant could help. Prescribed by their doctor, the drug's list price is nearly $800,000 a year. Twice, their insurance denied coverage, saying clinical studies have not proven that this drug...
That by partnering with our large volume users who can utilize effluent wastewater from our wastewater treatment plants, that they can use that in lieu of our potable water. We are in discussions and negotiations with multiple entities. The goal is as shown here, is for a use of effluent from the Allison wastewater treatment plant.
And you've got the Made in America. Somehow, I don't know how, but then we found
And the discussion as well around the
tools for your
I'm trying to pick off. There we are. Virtual box is now installed.
Discussions with Dr. Scott.
This. Here we are. Now got back to the but I do not want to have anything in the quick launch bar, so we'll
Way now, we got transmission. Maybe you can help him out. I've got 1020 here. I'm going to try to get this thing fixed on 1020.
That unlocks so much for productivity, creativity, and entertainment.
And it's super quick, too.
The company began pushing
Now here I'm ready for City Skylines 2 on my PC. I just need to open the PC
Alright, transmission
select my
engaged.
desktop, and now I'm back to designing my PC. Except this time, I'm on a ginormous screen. Playing in XR, you really get a sense of the
That unlocks so much for productivity, creativity, and entertainment.
And it's super quick, too. Now here, I'm already playing Skylines 2 on my PC.
2601 Demery, 2601 Demery, room lot number 5003. As a third party caller advisee, there is a physical disturbance between a male and a female. Male subject was called to the female, and they're inside the residence now.
Lot number 15.
5003. 5003.
1060.
Please stand by.
Turn into the mall. Be on small little brown, maybe a Honda.
We want to save a lot of lives. As you know, in the past we spent could be $350 billion giving it to Ukraine. We got nothing in return. As you know, but in the past I ended up getting a rare earth in return.
Stand by.
You got any youth come out here? They're probably 18.
Sure. He's advising the female should be by the name of April. She's wearing a black tank top with shorts. Male subject by the name of Chris, wearing a padded long sleeve shirt. Here's another last
Chase
name.
mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and member FDIC.
So, unless System 76 decides to yet again delay Cosmic and Pop OS 24.4, it should release today as the day I'm filming this video to make sure I'm as accurate as possible. This is a very important thing for the Linux desktop ecosystem. This is a very
Thank you.
And if you want the whales on my list, you have to... I never sleep in the same room with the whales on my list. You probably by my room. I want a fully encrypted 8mm cache.
Well, you got that, I'll catch up on that one later. We got a, I got 1020, deadhead, I'm not sorry. I got 1020 out of survey. It's going to be dropping off all of it. Yeah, an individual really do not see that Run to the call, like I said.
10-4.
Location what's your 10-20.
I'm Victor Molester.
crossing the street, crossing the
is the base package, this gives us the basis of VirtualBox. Of course we need to enter my password. There we are, that's installed. So we go back, next we install VirtualBox, which will improve the performance of our virtual machine, not least by permitting it to run full screen and allowing a shared. All very exciting. ccpd and run the second full version in the menu here. In the menu, first we have to install it. Pretty familiar to through install process. And if you want to configure it, there's lots of really good settings. And there we are, it is installed. After reboots, it will take a stage, but we have the full appearance tab. Really are. We'll see
Location 10-20.
the first layout and nothing looks different, but now we're efficient to install it. Right click and go to display.
Try them on. What do you think? And I'm not a very good American. So if I set this in here like this, you can see that it glows. And when I place this in front, it kills.
Charles.
Just drove off, but that's the unit right behind you.
Again, there's not really much to see here. But what I'll do right now is make it a bit more interesting. You have these useful links when they exist. It's okay. It also handles uploads for your It's called the sideways. And you see right here,
let me see at the top. Political violence, you have no service in this country. And I strongly, unequivocally condemn the killing of Charlie Kirk last week. And this is exactly the kind of case that warrants...
She had an individual who were getting off the unit and spit at her.
$67.49, $67.49. Simple.
He shows a right to work at 1558.
Attorney General Pam Bondi, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Dan Kane, Commander of U.S. Northern Command, General Gregory Gill, Commander of the Southern Border Task Force, Major General Scott Noman,
entertainment, creativity, office suites like LibreOffice, WPS Office, or OnlyOffice for productivity. You can use browsers like Firefox, Chrome, Brave, or Vivaldi. You can configure the desktop to suit your workflow perfectly. And this level of flexibility is unmatched by most operators.
Location 10-20.
In the context of modern computing, it's clear why it continues to gain popularity. People want an operating
Open calculator.
And I don't have a product key, so we'll just say that down there. And I want to install Windows 11 Pro, And I also want to make sure we're offline when we do this, so I can set up a local account.
And overall quality. This is where evaluator agent will refine and correct any potential errors the planner agent may have made using rule-based or MAM-based checks. The evaluator agent and planner agent will then talk back and forth until a plan is refined and improved match user request. And finally, the explainer agent will translate and present the final result to the user.
And I don't have a product key, so we'll just say that down there. And I want to install Windows 11 Pro. And I also want to make sure we're offline when we do this, so I can set up a local account. And to do that, I should go down here to virtual box, which is the one we'll mainly focus on in the network. So, now, when we've done that, we'll get this message, because down this machine finds loads and loads of other sites that actually provide access to the ISO file. I'm there, in case we go all the way down to the UK, there we are, and to download there is without having to install it. If you want to run your system without an antivirus, you can on Linux. You may be also good on Mac OS. Here we're going to do a better make sure you don't download software of the official website of the developer. Click on nice list of things that Linux can do that other operating systems just can't. And oh look, it turns red. And just to be safe, I'm also going to do the same thing to fonts Ubuntu.
Show me complete with a crew street call.
And there we are. We should now have permanently installed the thicker Ubuntu font.
Like Galaxy you still hold that stock in that Chinese company?
Pursuant to the Department of Justice, who reviewed my material that was submitted during my confirmation process, I was able to hold certain stocks, and they made the decision.
You still hold the stock
of JSON security.
Or you still hold on to the Chinese
In simple, due to GNOME's design language, the interface is clean, with soft edges, flat icons, and minimal clutter. Since Puros avoids bloat, the desktop never feels overwhelmed. Even system settings are simplified. Privacy options are visible and easy to manage. Pure Browser integrates privacy tools like duck.go, Tor settings, oblique origin-like protections, and tracking blockers by default. This means that the moment you open Puros, you're browsing the internet safely without needing to.
There are some performance problems when opening and closing apps. Not sure if it's...
And this is also steered by electronic traffic.
I think Steam is probably the best. I'm not a gamer, but I have actually tried this to some extent, because earlier on today I went to the software store and
simple due to GNOME's design language. The interface is clean, with soft edges, flat icons, and minimal clutter. Since Puros avoids bloat, the desktop never feels overwhelmed. Even system settings are simplified. Privacy options are visible and easy to manage. Pure Browser integrates privacy tools like duck.go, Tor settings, oblique origin-like protections, and tracking blockers by default. This means that the moment you open Puros, you're browsing the internet safely without needing...
There's round 1020 in direction if you haven't.
Yeah, he's at 19. He's headed to, he's on air right now, heading now. About to make that left.
I bring this up because this is all over forums out there, where people say
I'm headed to Stable Station.
Something around the actual smart to limit the transmission of the data to the actual utility company so that they are able to be monitored. Be very careful with this approach. In many jurisdictions, interfering with the
Negative fight in progress
is illegal under anti-tampering laws, and it could result in fines or your service being cut off. Plus, blocking data transmission doesn't actually stop the data from being recorded. It's just stored up.
Oh gosh. I bet she says that to all the customers, but we sure appreciated it. The optometrist, Dr.
Over the world, go to the war, you hear Afghanistan, you hear all these different places. Our crime in certain cities is worse than anything they can even imagine. And we're not going to have that anymore. We're just going to stop these things. Yes, please.
The outstanding
And I bring this up because this is all over forums out there, where people say they could put a Faraday cage or like something around the actual smart meter to limit the transmission of the data to the actual utility company so that they are able to be monitored. Be very careful with this. In many jurisdictions, interfering with the utilities metering device is illegal and tampering laws, which result in blocking data transmission doesn't actually stop the data from being recorded. It's just stored and
social media history actually be what kind of concerns is that sparking?
Privacy ones first and foremost, Lindsay, and then as you mentioned,
transactions, real-time data and analytics to optimize sales, inventory, and insights. Seamless integration with loyalty programs, mobile payments, and online orders. Industry-leading security, protected sensitive customer data. 24/7 monitoring and support. Update your POS experience, real-time data, and real-time data, connect sales, inventory, sales, inventory, seamless integration, seamless integration with mobile payments and online industry-leading security, customer data, sensitive customer data, 24/7 monitoring and support.
And support a wide range of professional workflows. One of the most common questions people ask is how Ubuntu compares to Ubuntu. While both are built on the same base, the difference lies in the desktop environment. Ubuntu uses GNOME, which is minimal and simplified. Ubuntu uses KDE Plasma, which is customizable and feature-rich. GNOME focuses on simplicity. Plasma focuses on flexibility. GNOME has a unique workflow that some users love.
Lo and behold, we should find, yes, our USB drive is now once again available.
I serve my country.
VirtualBox is a hypervisor that I use almost every day. However, I serve my country. And the first one I want to mention is
opening and closing apps. Not sure if it's...
And I want to install Windows 11 Pro, and I also want to make sure we're offline when we do this, so I can set up a local account. And to do that, I'm going to go down here to VirtualBox and I'm going to disconnect the network
so you should be able to run that on any
now, when we've done that, we'll get to this message because our virtual machine is
amateur with a VHF radio to tune them in.
A totally
and so this guy Roy
Windows
Welch
11
in Dallas put an antenna up and pointed where the satellite was, and in February 11th, 1958, let's see if this works.
And things I think to be hopeful.
In any case, it just sounds like that sound that you heard.
And there we are, poor bloody Mary Poppins. It worked. Windows 11 is installed here in a virtual machine. The unattended install in VirtualBox 7 is fantastic. When it works. You should even if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I hope to talk to you again very soon.
You've got some amazing classes. I love that.
Then we try the Shelbys.
What do you think? The Shelbys or the...
They both look good on you.
George Thomas,
What about saluting our
28, that's from Rec 2005 to Rec 4. What is different color? Expired June 2025. June 2025.
Scan complete.
But you better make sure you don't download software outside of the official website. So, there you go. The nice little thing that Linux can
completely. And I don't have a product key, so we'll just take that down there. And I want to install Windows 11 Pro, and I also want to make sure we're offline when we do this, so I can set up a local account. And to do that, I'm going to go down here to VirtualBox, and I'm going to disconnect the network adapter. Now, when we've done that, we'll get to this message, because our virtual machine doesn't meet the requirements for Windows 11. But we can fix this by going backwards.
And we salute the workers behind these glasses.
About that 225, 261 Louisiana Avenue, so we want to do a work order for wastewater for a backup.
Under graphics, again, not a great deal on Image Viewer, LibreOffice Draw, Photos. We don't here have GIMP, the GNU Image Manipulation Program. Used to be included. Apparently, user feedback said people didn't want that pre-installed. You can obviously add it yourself if you want to. Under Internet, again, it's pretty minimal. We've got the Firefox web browser. We've got Lumina for connecting to remote desktops. We've got Office, which includes LibreOffice. You probably have guessed that.
Sir, just an FYI, 927 is caught up to 1016, both inbound 23s. Currently on Corpus, almost to Stable Street Station. 1016 is going to be 24 minutes down.
Hello.
Frank.
Okay, can you advise 1016 put their sign out of service?
EO 1.
Is it got it to have them put their sign out, please?
Yeah, well, I'll also have get back on that.
Hello.
Frank.
Hello.
Hello.
To the area. There's an active police investigation going on, and there's a lot of police activity. We've got assistance so far from some surrounding communities, the state police, the Cranston Police, East Providence Police, as well as our federal partners in the FBI and the ATF. We're talking to witnesses at this time and delving into any video that's in the area, and the investigation is very active and ongoing.
One more.
At 32 degrees, and that's the actual. That's not factoring wind chill. So that's in the 32 degree mark or less for 2 hours or more. Spread area. So depending on the severity of it, how hard is it just going to maybe for 1 hour during the daytime get to that?
In 1965, a few scientists at Bell Labs joined with peers from MIT and General Electric on a project called Multiplex Information and Computing Service, or Multics. The idea was to create this general-purpose utility for sharing time on a computer system.
Hello.
Frank?
I guess so.
Hey, yo, one.
Hey, yo, one.
Do we get the next county court date?
Hello.
Frank?
March the 23rd, March the 23rd at 9 a.m.
Charles, 10-4.
Any idea what the towel was about? Was it used later to identify a place where the firearm was left, or?
What we can tell you is the towel. There was a screwdriver found on the rooftop, which the was collected off of, and the towel was found wrapped around the firearm in question in a wooded area next to the campus. All have been processed for DNA.
And then, according to the suspect's roommate and captured on security footage, jumping off the messages on the alleged shooting location at Losey Center. Do we have any idea how the suspect got up on the roof in the first place? I think for members of Congress, especially after Butler in Pennsylvania, it's just unimaginable that there could be some type of security breakdown prior to an event of that size where somebody could access a rooftop.
So, not commenting on the case, but
Losey Center. Do we have any idea how the suspect got up on the roof in the first place? I think for members of Congress, especially after Butler in Pennsylvania, it's just unimaginable that there could be some type of security breakdown prior to an event of that size where somebody could access a rooftop.
So not commenting on the case, members of Congress.
It's a contradiction here, or maybe, sir, you ought to talk to leadership about coming in with your management style to protect the Supreme Court, Congress, and the administration.
This is NBC
Otherwise,
Nightly News with Tom Yamas.
Situation.
Reporting tonight from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yet folks on Main Street.
We are live tonight from Steel City, as you can see.
I think for members of Congress, especially after Butler in Pennsylvania, it's just unimaginable that there could be some type of security breakdown prior to an event of that size where somebody could access a rooftop.
So not commenting on the case, but having gone to the crime scene and walked the steps we believe were taken, the roof was actually...
Charles, in light of China's research on rare birds, do you view India as a...
I don't have a product key, so we'll just take that down there. And I want to install Windows 11 Pro, and I also want to make sure that offline when we do this, I can set up a local account. And to do that, I'm going to go down here to virtual host, and I'm going to disconnect the network adapter. Now, when we've done that, we'll get to this message, because our virtual machine doesn't meet the requirements for Windows 11. But we can fix this by going backwards, and
146.
They send their cars in, Mercedes, for the millions. They don't send any. They don't take them. They would tariff it themselves. agricultural project, agriculture. They want their farmers. But it was you're supposed to go into the discuss in the contract.
But this is the infinite screen after all, right? So let's imagine I wanted to share my attachment. I can open up Google Meet in another window.
The computer without that many applications pre-installed. Although here, we're going to go back to my favourite Rhino OS layout, which is a standard Windows icon, which I still think is better. It's worth noting that the change in layout does change the settings for your panel. What I do have is called the taskbar because that really makes it easy for people coming from Windows. I have made that slightly bigger, so I'll go back on there, put it back to 64, which for me is the best size of the taskbar.
At least you'll now be able to work with USB devices using virtual ISO, although before we can do that, we do need virtual machine boot not least by permitting it to run at full screen.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate the call.
Sitting around and not able to give out cards once the bill's inserted. So I cleared the Route 19 Fairmont. We got unit 1020 heading back to Southside, going to do a service adjustment. 1016, I'm doing a service adjustment. He's going to Port Air Station, be back on time. So those three right there, four right there, I can pick up. Alright, 10-4. I got some paperwork to do, but I'll be standing by at Naval Station.
Hello. Hello.
I guess so.
PO1. 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 Hello. Hello.
Frank.